Yeah, so I guess Tony's taking a little break from GMing for a while.
That can be normal after a long campaign, Elvis.
I know, Paul, but our old playgroup kind of fell apart. I think Tony wants to get everyone back together, and he's hoping he can do that by having someone else run a game. Personally, I don't know what to do now that campaign is over. Feels like a chapter in my life ended.
Is he thinking about joining our group?
I gave him an invitation, but I don't know, Mason. He also tends to work during our game days.
I do have to appreciate how he just rolled with everything.
It's true that not many GMs would run a game the way Tony did, and then let the players destroy an important part of the setting, and all the NPCs.
Yeah, Lowry, I could never tell if Tony was taking it seriously. Like, he was definitely invested, but he'd also just drop major plot lines to accommodate a scheme we had. And he'd let us kill NPCs even if he'd drawn pictures of them, or whatever.
It's like kicking down sandcastles. You bully his world, but he keeps bullying you right back.
I think that's what kept me in it. I got punished for everything, but Tony always let me give back when I really wanted to.
Yeah, but anyway, we got a game tonight, and I have to confess, I don't know anything about Glam Rock.
Yeah,
I know my character can play the guitar and can sing.
Yeah, I really don't know a whole lot about the Glam Rock era either.
What do you mean you don't know about Glam Rock? Paul, it was your game idea.
I just like the aesthetic. Kill me.
I'm gonna play the bass, but if there are any girls, I want to play them too.
Larry, do you mean you want to play as a girl, or is this...
I'm making a euphemism, Paul.
Okay.
I'm being inappropriate.
Smooth.
I feel like we don't do skirt chasing as a motive very often. I always worry it's going to make the table feel awkward.
You see, Mason, the trick is you just have to look Paul in the eyes and be confident. Make him feel special.
Larry, I swear to God.
I can't live without you, baby. I'm gonna lasso the moon, pull it down from the sky, and then sit it down on my face.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, baby, the moon is a metaphor for your rear end.
So you're going to chase girls, but you didn't take the charm skill.
Yeah, Mason, you gotta play what you know.
I play the drums. I don't know how to play the drums in real life.
Alright, but what's your character, Elvis? That's where I'm hung up.
I don't really know. I was thinking about having a substance abuse problem, but I don't know if the premise allows it.
I mean...
Well, then you gotta be 27 years old, getting that 27 club.
Okay, I think I got it. Addictive personality, thrill seeker, bad long-term planning.
Are we all just making this up as we go?
Are you? You explained all this and it sounded cool. Do you not have a plan?
I have an outline, but it's very low concept and I don't know what you guys are going to do with it all.
Can you just go over the game premise from the top one more time? I get we're doing some kind of rock and roll thing, but for a one-shot game, it was a lot to take in.
Alright, so, you guys live in a space mining colony called Glam Rock. The operation is set up on an asteroid, which you've been mining for several generations now. Nobody knows where you came from or how you came to be here exactly, but you do know one thing for sure. You serve an enigmatic group of non-speaking aliens you all refer to as the Silent Singers. The asteroid has, above all else, 2 immutable laws. The first is, you shall not attempt to contact the outside world. The second is that each year the Silent Singers will present you with 100 crates, which must be filled to the brim with various metals and ores found while mining the asteroid. A large bronze plaque displays these 2 rules in the central meeting hall of the colony, but an extended scripture explains their reasoning. You mustn't contact the outside world because it's populated by aliens with faster-than-light travel, and therefore faster-than-light weapons. If some adversary were to become aware of you and decide to attack the colony would be destroyed before you would even see the weapons coming. This rule is for your own safety and for the continued survival of the colony. The second rule is because the Silent Singers have established a pact with the colony. You give them the metals, and in return, they provide you with enough food and other materials to survive on the asteroid. Functionally, you cannot live without the Silent Singers as patrons, and they support you because of the value that you provide to them. These are the 2 essential laws of Glam Rock, which have not been violated in several known lifetimes. However, about 20 years back, the colony made a request for livestock, such that they could produce their own food in addition to those rations provided by the Singers. The Singers obliged in the next cycle and brought a kind of lizard which feeds on mold and moss and other things that grow naturally in the caves. It was great for a little while until a few escaped and went feral, and after that, the only way that you could get down into the mines was to use your mining platforms as weapons to fend off the wild, biting lizards. But you're in luck there because each of your mining platforms is powered by a musical instrument. The way you play alters the way the platform behaves, and after that debacle and a year of hardship, your people had the Singers load up the platforms with weapons. Now when the drummer hits that bass drum just so, it fires a volley of micro-missiles. No dangerous lizard creature is any threat to that so long as you conserve your ammunition until the next supply drop-off. You almost missed the quota that year. But that isn't where the colony's challenges end. Now you're facing a new issue. You've mined as much of the asteroid as you think you can without causing it to become structurally unstable. Worse, each year the Singers drop off 100 crates, but the crates are getting larger every time. They're true to the letter of the agreement, but this has been pushing the colony harder and harder. Finally, the reduced capacity for work and the constant damage caused by the lizards has caused a variety of shortages. To save on clothing material, ordinary pants have been outlawed. Everyone now wears a Speedo, or a pair of ripped-up tights with a codpiece. Everyone is also required to grow out their hair for as long as they can so it can be trimmed and then used as rope or other things, so everyone has long hair, is on their way to long hair, or has recently been shaved. Those who can play the music and pilot the platforms have become a kind of superstar. You guys, as one of the bands, are the only thing keeping this place together, and everyone loves and respects you if they don't envy you. But as desperation looms, all eyes turn to you, and now everyone is expecting you to pull them through an impossible situation.
Are you done? I mean, it's a lot of material, but like, what is all that?
Yeah, I mean, that's the setting, and I haven't even explained the people in it yet.
Paul, isn't this high concept? It is conceptually a lot. That seems like a high concept.
No, Elvis, in writing, high concept means it's a plot that's easy to explain. Shrek saves the princess and learns to love himself. It's a high concept that can be applied to any setting, and the story revolves around the plot. Low concept means the audience falls asleep halfway through explaining it.
No, Lowry, it means the story is focused on the characters and the setting instead of the plot. Shrek is high concept and driven by heading from point A to point B, but a romance story that revolves around the characters and how they come to fall in love would be considered low concept, probably. It's easy to explain the former, and the latter can be summarized as a love story, but the meat of the story takes a decent amount of explanation.
So you're going for, like, a character story where we have to improv all the main characters, and the plot driving us is
economic hardship and an archaic tax system applied to a science fiction setting. And also, you're rock stars, and pants are forbidden.
You should just write us a script. This is...
I'm down for it. I can do it.
I can ruin it.
It sounds cool, but you probably should have done pre-made characters with the book's worth of backstory and then hashed out motives before the game.
That sounds like even more work than usual.
I mean, it's a low... Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to base my character on a book I read recently. If Elvis and Lowry want to try it, I will do my best.
Alright, that's the spirit. It's just one night anyway. This is going to be more of a challenging game for all of us, but you guys have a basic character hook in your heads, right? Elvis, you're a substance abuser, low self-control, all about instant gratification.
Yep.
Okay, and Lowry, you're a womanizer, and you're bad at it. I assume maybe you're, like, attention-starved.
Sure, yeah, I can roll with that.
And Mason, what are you doing?
Put me down as an ambitious ideologue. The Singers are taking advantage of us, and I don't like it. But I'm willing to throw away everything for the status and power to be where I am.
Alright, great, and you said you're also the vocalist and the band's melody. Elvis, you're the drums, Lowry, you're the bass. Our game begins on the day the Silent Singers are meant to visit. Your crews have done all they could to gather enough material to fill the crates, and to be honest, it was cut so close you had to toss in a few dud materials you might have otherwise thrown away. There's been a lot of talk about what the Singers would do if you broke the second law, and everyone's wondering if they'll notice you cut corners to meet the quota this year. The freighter ship of the Silent Singers draws into view of your guidance systems. The ship's wings fan out like an angel, with neon-lighted tips pointed in all directions. It sends a tight beam of light towards your station, which is the signal for docking clearance. Butch Knuckles, the colony foreman, signals them in, and the Singers dock. Now, real quickly, I want to establish some background for you guys and Butch. Mason, Butch and your dad were good friends, and that relationship is part of how you got promoted to lead singer in a band. Your father didn't much like the Silent Singers either, but Butch is an avid believer in the fairness of the system, and both you and your father got to where you were by cooperating with Butch, whether you liked it or not.
Was my dad also a lead singer?
Let's say your dad was actually on backup guitar, but always quietly resented it. He never spoke up directly because even though Butch doesn't play anymore, he was and still is a very popular guy. Butch ran your dad's band. He was the lead singer of that band.
Okay, that's Butch. The guy my dad should have been.
Lowry, Butch stood between you and your career in a band for a while. He didn't think your head was in it for the right reasons, and during that time you had to woo girls on a shoestring budget, which, when applied to more than one girl, went over even worse than normal. However, Butch also relented and eventually let you join after you shacked up with one of the older female platform managers and made your case to her. She pushed him on the merit that you'd do just about anything to keep and live up to this position, and he let you on.
What's the lady's name? I'm definitely going to be talking to her. She's got to be the only woman who appreciates my come-ons.
Big Red Deborah.
Big Deb.
Big Deb. Elvis, you got in your band before the other guys, but have been on thin ice pretty much ever since. After every single bender, Butch has held your hair back and helped you get back on your feet, and has threatened to throw you out of the band if you ever do it again. He hasn't yet acted on that threat, and you're not sure that he ever will.
He's just a big softy.
Alright, so, Butch welcomes the singers in. When the airlock opens up, fog pours in. The singers have long, tall figures. They're clad in robes and wear a sort of mask. The whole getup is likely a spacesuit, and the fog is probably normal for their home atmosphere. They speak to one another by broadcasting neon lights, and every visit is wordless. They'll answer yes or no by either flashing a green or red light. The group sets about inspecting the place while everyone in the colony kneels down on the floor, Butch included. They take away the old crates, bring in several boxes and equipment of supplies, then bring in new crates to fill with metal. The whole thing is done swiftly, like a smoothly choreographed dance. Just as it all comes to an end, one of the singers stops before Butch and spreads its arms. This is the signal, and Butch rises to say a few things to the singer, but he's speaking in hushed tones. You can't make out what he's saying. The conversation is brief, and Butch looks concerned. The lights flash, alternating red and green. He seems to be asking a number of questions. Eventually, Butch nods, and the singer glides back to its freighter ship. The airlock closes, the ship departs, and everyone gets off their knees. The room starts to murmur. The tithing crates are even larger than the last ones. Arguably, you didn't even make the quota last time. No one is sure you could make it this time, and the rumor is that the last viable veins were tapped for the previous tithe. The murmuring gets louder, and people start trying to talk over one another. Then Butch stands up and he holds out his hands. All right, listen up. I know how it looks. I had a word with the singers, and they said they expect us to fill the tithe one last time. I explained the situation, that the mine's almost dry, and they understand.
What do they understand?
Mason, that the mine is almost dry. They know this is the end of the road for Glam Rock, as it is now.
Yeah? And what did they say about it, aside from yes or no?
I'm getting to it, just let me arrive.
Come on, Mason, just give the guy a second.
Don't lecture me.
Right, well, I've explained the situation, and they've said we need to fill the last tithe. If we can do that, and if we pull together, I know that we can, they've promised to consider finding a new home for us. The place breaks out in conversation again. There's 3 bands in total, counting yourselves. The leader of one of the bands, a guy named Padre Rockero, climbs up on his platform and says, What did they say we'd do if we don't meet the tithe? Butch replies, I didn't ask. You know as well as I do, Padre, that's a violation of one of the only 2 laws laid down by the singers. It'd be a fool's thing to have asked. And yet my hair and I had a dream. I dreamed, Butch, that we didn't meet the quota. Call it the stress of recent events, or perhaps a premonition. My hair advises me to treat the dream as a portent. Things as they are, it may become reality. The hull erupts into arguing. Padre is saying something aloud that a lot of people on Glam Rock have been quietly harboring.
What do you guys make of this?
I'm not worried. What's the singers gonna do if we don't meet our quota?
Could just leave us to die on Glam Rock, Elvis.
Yeah, but you don't know that. It's never happened before.
They've never left us to die on Glam Rock before, either. So,
real quick, let's establish some backstory for you guys with Padre.
Man, can someone give me a pencil? I am gonna have to write this stuff down.
Here you go. Man, I feel like it's been a long time since I took session notes. I remember doing it for our old D&D games, but eventually I realized everything could be summarized as go to dungeon, stab monster, and if we forgot any details, killing whatever was at the end of the dungeon was usually the right answer.
maybe we just kill everyone in Glam Rock, and then we won't have to remember who they are.
All right, Mason. Your dad never approved of Padre. Padre's older than you, but still plenty young. He does this thing where he talks to his hair, and no one is sure if it's a stage bit or something that's legitimately wrong with him, because he seems fully functional in society but never drops the character. In your interactions with him, it seems like he looks down on you, and sometimes describes you as having less experience than him.
It's true, but also annoying.
Lowry, Padre's kind of a kindred spirit to you. Also a bit of a womanizer. He gets around. This also makes him a bit of a romantic rival, and a more successful one, although it's true that girls who fall for him are also usually likely to fall for the same tricks twice. You did have one awkward brush with him when you came onto his drummer. You're not sure what's going on there, doesn't seem like they're an item, but Padre did not like you trying to mess with her.
What's her name?
Nichols. Her real name is Nicole, but everyone calls her Nichols.
Was she receptive to me at all?
Pretty much as soon as you took a pass at Nichols, Padre threatened to beat you up.
All right. Hypocrite. I'd let him sleep with Elvis.
Elvis! Padre does not interact with you very much, romantically or otherwise. You get the feeling that he's avoiding you.
Why?
You have no idea. You don't talk to the guy.
Is it my drug problem?
It's probably my drug problem. Next, the other band leader stands up on her platform. It's Kinsey Stone. Her group doesn't create as much trouble in general, and in that way her team is seen as sort of the poster children for what a band should be. Look, she says, I know it looks bad and all we have to go on is faith, but as one of the leaders on this mining project, I'd like to say that I believe in myself and everyone here. I know the engineers will help us get through this. The technicians will keep the platforms running, the chefs will keep us fed, and everybody will be doing everything they have to make this work. Brock says, Thank you, Kinsey. I couldn't have put it any better myself. This colony is our whole world. There's plenty of other asteroids out there, maybe even whole planets to mine. I think that what the singers are doing is putting us through a test. If we can fill this last tithe, they'll see we're worth it. And so help me, I know we all are. Now everyone take your vacation days. Got some planning work to do. It's a big task, but I know that we're up to it. Enjoy the holiday. I'll see everyone soon. Brock steps down, and the crowd begins to fan out and disperse. But real quick, let's establish some work history with Kinsey. Mason, you have found Kinsey to be very easy to work with. She's less ambitious than you and stays focused on getting things done. In a lot of ways, she runs a better band than yours, but she doesn't advertise it. Some people know the fact, a lot of people don't.
Okay.
Lowry, Kinsey has rejected every advance that you've made towards her. Perhaps more than any other woman, she sees through you like you're made of glass, and she is simply not having it. At best, you can tease a little professional courtesy out of her, but otherwise the temperature towards you is absolute zero.
Well, that sounds like I should almost definitely leave her alone. Or maybe she's in love with me and I should double down.
Elvis, Kinsey seems to pity you. You're supposed to be equals to her in a way, so it's actually a little embarrassing. She seems to think that you need help, or specifically her help, but she doesn't really get you.
Well, I am a pretty complicated creature, to be fair.
And there it is, the most important people, the plight, and the moment of Glam Rock. As you guys head back to your rooms to pack it in for your brief vacation days, you notice people talking in hushed tones as you walk past. Nobody's made up their minds yet, but as band leaders, you guys are the pillars of Glam Rock. You have 1 year, and succeed or fail, everything will have changed. Everyone here revolves around the work that you do, and for generations it's all they've known. Every eye on the station is on you.
Man, Paul, this is a lot to take in.
Yeah, Mason, but you get it, right? You've got a price to pay and you can't afford to pay it, but your boss is going to ask you to try.
He's not my boss. In heart, anyway. Elvis, Lowry, come on. We're going to get some answers ahead of all this.
Aren't we supposed to be mining an asteroid? The only question is whether we can mine enough rocks.
Yeah, Elvis. And they had to survey the asteroid once before last year, so they must already know the answer.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad we don't have to figure out the answer ourselves. I didn't know where to start.
Shut up, Lowry. Come on. Paul, I'd take us to wherever the engineers hang out. They must have an office, right?
In fact, they do. There's an office space where a few guys sit around in front of their boxy, 80s-era computers and do calculations based on survey data.
Oh, wait, surveyors. That's even better. Those guys are on the ground. If the engineers won't talk straight, the surveyors will.
Either way, the office is empty.
Really? Well, grab a guy from somewhere nearby that looks like he works here. Hey, you got a minute?
You stop some guy with a tall mohawk glued straight up. He's wearing a bright red Speedo. Yeah?
Where's all the engineers and surveyors?
Oh, they're at the big meeting with Brock, dude.
Oh, really? The big meeting with Brock. That's funny, because I didn't get invited to that.
Oh, well, shoot, dude. I would invite you if it was up to me.
So you saying I can go?
I mean, I guess. You're Mason, right? A band leader? I thought you could go to all the meetings.
Well, thanks for the invite. What's your name, brother? And where are the guys meeting?
My name's Doobie, and they're meeting in the central office.
Sweet. Come on, guys.
Hey, Doobie, I don't suppose I could bump some stuff off you, could I? I'll pay you back, I swear.
Yeah, sure, man. What do you want?
Whatever you got, I don't care.
Okay, cool. I got, He hands you something rolled up in cigarette paper.
Ah, sweet, I love this stuff.
Elvis, come on.
I'm coming!
What do you got? You're not going to smoke that before we barge in on a meeting with the guys in charge, are you?
No.
All right, good, because I want to be taken seriously. And Lowry, you're not going to say anything about your codpiece, right? Not again.
Man, I was gonna open with that. Everybody loves that.
No!
But it's a great icebreaker.
Do you
Because
remember...
It's like sitting out ahead, like the stern of a ship.
Paul, I wander off in a corner and try to smoke whatever this thing is.
Do you remember when you did that PowerPoint presentation? Phone home to bone?
I do. I remember that.
Yeah. That's why.
It was about the soup that they were serving in the cafeteria. I almost choked on a lizard bone. I printed out flyers.
Well, that's not what the first 15 minutes were about. And in the flyers was a painting of you half naked, lying on the couch drinking soup.
I needed to establish that sometimes you do want to choke on a bone. The juxtaposition really helps drive home the point.
Hey! Elvis! Are you smoking over there?
No?
You never said anything nice about the painting. I didn't know you even saw it. I painted it myself, by the way.
You didn't tell me who painted it. Elvis, you better put that out right now.
I throw the thing on the ground and stamp on it. Try and blow the smoke away.
Of course I didn't tell you I painted it. I would have liked your honest opinion, which you wouldn't have given me if you knew it was me. But you didn't even comment at all.
At least I went to the presentation. Elvis, now you smell like a salami. What kind of drug smells like salami?
I have no idea.
All right, well, we'll just tell him that we stopped for lunch on the way. When we walk in that room, I want to be the most professional, valuable band that anyone has ever seen. All right? We have been snubbed, but I want them to know that we belong in there.
Wait, Mason. I have another idea.
What?
Okay. What if we wait until the meeting is over, find out what it was about, spend a while coming up with a good plan that we could have had if we'd been there, and then tell Brock that plan afterward and be like, if we'd been there, we would have said this.
No.
Then they'll think we have good
Elvis,
ideas.
It's not just about having ideas.
It's about impressing the girls.
Well, what if we tell them that a girl gave us the idea, and she'll be really glad that we helped her out, and she'll tell her friends that, man, whatever was in that cigarette, I can feel it's making me smarter.
Elvis, for all you know, it was crushed peppercorn.
Maybe that makes you smarter, dude.
Okay, everybody shut up. Clearly, I'm the only one who knows what's going on. I'm gonna do all the talking, all right? Nobody else say anything.
Got it.
Yeah, understood. No verbal wordage.
Thanks. And wordage is not a word, Lowry? Paul, I march my way down to the central office and barge right in.
You bash those doors in, startling everyone inside. It looks like Brock and a few engineers were leaning over a map of the asteroid. You can tell at a glance they were probably talking about the mineral supply and how to go about extracting it.
We stopped for lunch on the way. It's why I smell like salamis.
Yeah, we had salami. I heard there was a meeting, and I was worried that we were late to it.
Oh, Mason. Well, I was just going to call a meeting of the bands after the vacation to discuss our plans. We're just going over exactly what we want to do for now.
Well, so long as we're here, I don't suppose you mind if I sit in?
I suppose I don't. Go ahead and have a seat.
Then I sit myself down.
I sit down and then try to scoot far away from everyone so they can't smell me. Excuse me, I'll just sit over here.
Hey, if you guys are looking for a name for this operation, how about Stuffed with Minerals?
Lowry!
What? I'm not talking, I'm suggesting.
Let's just pick up where we left off. One of the engineers, named White Wally, says, Right, so like we were saying, looks like the only way we're going to get any mineral yield is to destabilize the asteroid. But if we do that, we're going to have to take it apart in chunks at a time from the far end on back. We think it might be doable if we establish an airlock system, seal everything off, and then use explosives to punch a small hole at the back. Once we get started at it, we can whittle away at it towards the main colony. Brock says, How much time would it take to set up a system like that? Well, I think we could get it done within the year if we really buckle down. And if this is our plan, we don't have much choice but to buckle down.
So we're just gonna blow up the asteroid?
We're going to strip it to the nubs, and then the singers will find us a new place to live.
Yeah, hopefully, but what if they don't, though?
We just have to have faith that they will. Another engineer named Killer Kevin flips away his long, gorgeous hair and says, Mason does have a point, though. If this doesn't work out, the far reaches of the mines are where we get the moss to feed our livestock, and where the wild lizards lay their eggs. If we sacrifice those parts of the asteroid, there really will be no sustaining the colony once our current supplies run out. Well, that may be, but we won't have to rely on those supplies at the end of the year. Sure, I believe that, if we can get enough minerals. We haven't had a chance to measure the crates yet, but it's a pretty substantial volume to fill, and we're scraping the bottom of the barrel here. There's a chance we may come up very short. They look over to Survey Sam, the head of Survey. He says, I don't think there's enough minerals in there either, and we don't have the guarantee the singers are going to do anything for us. But doing something stupid might be less stupid than doing nothing at all.
Hang on. I am an acquainted friend with stupid.
Hello.
And I can assure you that stupid is not always better than nothing.
I can appreciate that, Mason, but the only excuse to delay action is to wait for something else to fall in place. The task we've been given is to harvest minerals. I'm sure the singers will be reasonable enough to understand that we did all that we could.
Yeah, well, not everyone else in the colony is going to feel that way. When they realize that they're looking failure in the face and the price is going to be famine, the whole thing's going to collapse. We only have this year to cannibalize the entire asteroid, right?
I am already losing confidence. Are we going to have to go into space? We don't have any pants!
That's why, Mason, I'd appreciate it if you didn't go around spreading that kind of demoralizing prognosis. As far as I'm hearing, it sounds like we may have a shot at doing this, and we may very well meet that quota if we tackle this with a united front.
But that's not what the engineers and the surveyors are saying. That's not what Sam said. He said he thinks it doesn't work.
Mason, look at me. It won't work if you go around telling people it's not going to work. We have to buckle down and commit, and everyone needs to be in this together. So if you've got doubts, extinguish them from your mind and focus on demonstrating to people that we are going to get this done.
All right, fine. If you are adamant about that, then that's how it's going to be.
Thank you. It's going to be difficult, but thank you. The rest of the meeting goes on about the details of how they're going to establish the airlock system and do the mining safely. It's kind of dull and technical, and you can't really contribute, but you invited yourself to the meeting, and as is their nature, now you can't leave without offending everyone. So you're trapped for a few hours, but eventually it wraps up and everyone heads off in separate directions.
All right, guys, bring it in. The plan is never going to work.
Why not? Brock said we just have to give it a try and keep everyone's hopes up, and somehow the cold dead of space won't bother our pantsless butt.
I mean, you're gonna freeze your balls off. That, right off the bat, I'm totally against that.
Well, maybe they're gonna come up with some kind of space codpiece.
They're just making plans to help everyone feel confident, but I guarantee, if we do that stuff they said, we're gonna go sterile.
You guys aren't even seeing the big picture. It's not going to work because the whole thing is going to fall apart if confidence drops. But once we start tearing apart the asteroid, we have to keep going. There's no going back. We have to finish the job, but we won't be able to if everyone loses confidence.
Then we just gotta believe.
It doesn't matter if you believe. It only matters if something like 90% of the people responsible for keeping this place operational believe. And given the fact that morale is already sort of shaky, and they're not sure about things, and Padre got up and sassed Butch on the first day, there is zero chance that morale is going to stay at peak long enough to finish the whole job.
Ah, man. Man, I was worried about the space, but this is like a bigger downer than that.
Mason, you probably should have brought this up with Butch.
No way. Butch is committed. That's a dead end. We gotta kill this early on, but we can't make it look like our idea.
All right. I hear what you're saying. So here's my plan. We come up with a solution so smart, nobody would believe that we thought of it.
Oh, I like that plan. That's like our first plan, but we circled back to it.
Yeah, and that's as far as I got.
Okay, that's brilliant. Let's put a pin in that. Here's my plan. Let's go ahead and relay this all back to Padre somehow. Make sure he knows the whole thing's a hoax. Give him time to percolate on it. When Butch calls us all together for the plan, Padre will be the one who sticks his neck out, and then we can second the doubts.
But then, Padre will take credit for our smart plan.
Which plan?
The one that's so smart nobody will think we thought of it.
Is that not the whole point of your plan?
No, I want credit for it.
Well, the problem is, Lowry, your plan seems so smart, I'm not sure everyone else is going to see the value in it right away. So maybe we can just let it circulate for a little bit, and if everybody agrees it was a good idea, then we can take credit for it.
Okay. But I want to tell everybody that's what we did so that our plan seems extra smart.
Perfect. Okay, yes, we're operating 10 levels above everybody else. Sorry. Listen, Lowry, can I ask you to make a pass at Padre's drummer? What's her name, Nichols?
Yeah, you got it. I start to leave.
Hang on.
Look, Mason, I got it. I've been thinking about hitting on that girl again for ages. I know how to attract a lady. Actually, wait, do you have deodorant? Women love deodorant. It's a great gift.
I want you to... No, I don't have any deodorant. We're in a supply shortage. I need you to tell Nichols that they plan to tear apart the asteroid, but they know there's not enough minerals there to be worth it.
Okay. Mason, I'm going to be honest. That sounds like a total mood killer. Why don't you just tell Padre that?
Because we don't want people to think that we came up with it. Exactly according to your plan, which, when Nichols figures out that you came up with this, she's going to be so impressed by your brilliance that, okay? And it's going to work, because Padre doesn't like you talking to Nichols, so I think maybe there's less chance she's going to drop your name when she relays that back to him.
Oh, you're right. Oh, that's why I don't talk to her, because Padre would kick my butt. Okay, I got it. Paul, I go to find Nichols.
Larry goes. Mason and Elvis, what do you guys do in the meanwhile?
Just go back to my room and wait.
I try and find that doobie guy again. Bum some more free cigarettes off him, and then forget to ask what they are.
All right, Larry, you look around for Nichols, asking at the usual hangouts if anyone has seen her. It's the vacation weekend, so it turns out she's at the bar. She's having a drink, and you're in luck. Right now she's by herself. Men in general don't seem to approach her directly too often.
Great. Just walk right up to her. Hey, Nichols, how's it going? What are you drinking?
Not interested, Lowry.
Okay, cool. Totally respect that. I'm all about boundaries. But guess what? You're going to be totally into me in a second because I just got promoted, kinda. Guess who just sat in with the engineers for a meeting about how we're going to mine the rest of the asteroid?
She sets down her glass and looks at you.
Are you going to guess?
What exactly would it take for you to catch a hint?
Okay, you want a hint. All right, he's the best lovemaker in the entire colony.
Well, now I know it's not you.
I don't know what you've heard, but it is me, actually. Who do they say is a better lover than me?
Who is actually making love to you?
Well, that is a very personal question, which I feel crosses several professional boundaries, and I would never kiss and tell anyway, so...
What do you want, Lowry?
Okay, don't tell this to Padre, you sexy devil, but they told us that there's not enough minerals in the asteroid left to do the job, but they're going to try anyway and just ask everyone to put on a happy face about it. Basically, it's up to us to tear this place down, and then that's the last job, and after that it's doomsday. And you know what everybody does on doomsday? They have doomsday sex.
They told you this?
Yeah, me and Mason, the other guys in the band.
Why weren't we invited to this?
Because, Padre takes advice from his own hair. That's just my guess, though. I mean, seems a little crazy.
Okay, then why come and tell me?
Because obviously you're not attracted to me. Currently, because you don't value me as a provider. See, as a woman...
No,
As a woman, just listen, as a woman, though...
Listen.
Okay, maybe not right, okay, it's a subconscious
I am not
thing.
attracted to you.
Right, but once it's clear that I have elevated social status...
No.
Then...
No.
Maybe I could work out more. Bulk up at the gym a little bit.
You know what? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay, see?
Yeah, just hit the gym. Don't try this again until you can, I don't know, lift 400 pounds or something.
Oh, okay. In squats?
All right, and I'm done with this conversation.
All right, see you around then. Finger guns. Leave. Try not to walk funny on my way out. Find Mason.
Mason is back in his room, doing something.
I'm annotating a non-fiction book and writing what I feel are corrections in the margins.
So, Mason, I just got back from talking to Nichols, and, man, it got pretty intense. I can see why Padre doesn't want me talking to her, because I could barely beat that girl off of me.
Yeah? What'd she say?
Well, she begged for my number, and I have to tell her I've got too many options right now.
I mean about the mining operation, Lowry.
Oh, yeah. She didn't say, but she did ask a few questions about it, so, I got her interest before the conversation went to my workout schedule.
Well, all right. I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
You guys get scheduled for a colony meeting of the bands after the vacation weekend. Does anyone want to do anything else?
I don't even know where I am, man.
Elvis gets trashed and doesn't remember any of it.
I spend a lot of time flirting and trying to rationalize all my rejections.
And I'll just wait. Try and watch Padre without making it look like I'm watching it. Did he get the message? I don't know if he got it. He probably got it. When's he going to say something?
A question that gets answered during the meeting. Brock gets up in front of everyone with some maps pinned to the wall and explains the plan. Nothing has really changed about it since you guys heard it, but the whole time it looks like Padre is about to leap out of his seat. He's rubbing his hair between his fingers anxiously. Finally, Brock concludes with an, "I know it's going to be difficult, but you guys are in our bands because you're some of the most talented people to be doing it. and I know you can bring this all together. Almost before Brock concludes, Padre puts his hand up. Yes, Padre. I can't help but notice that the survey information isn't posted to the wall. Well, it doesn't seem relevant. We wouldn't normally. The plan outline is all here. Yes, but this is an extenuating circumstance. If we're all going to demolish the majority of our living space and wipe out the potential livestock, I'd like to know that we can fill the quota. Sam assured me that there should be enough minerals so long as we're not wasteful. Did he now? In that case, I'd like to see his official report with his stamp on it. All right, fine. Just put in a request and I'll get that data to you as quick as I can.
Brock, I also kind of have some doubts. I'd like to see some hard numbers showing that we can meet the quota before we start.
Mason, you were there for the meeting about this when we went over the numbers.
I was, and at the time, Sam seemed a little shaky, but the crates hadn't been measured yet, and we were still looking for a few details, so I was hoping that we got the margins on that.
Well, I have to come clean about this. Based on what we can actually see, we're not sure that we can completely fill the quota, but by Sam's conjecture, there might be enough ore once we actually tear things down and have most of the asteroid to sort through. That is unacceptable for such a dramatic move. My hair enjoys a certain level of stability, and if we find ourselves in a food shortage, the entire project will fail. I am aware of the logistical problems. Suddenly, there's a beeping from a console. Someone's trying to reach you through the comms. Hold on just a moment. Brock picks up the line and speaks into a hand radio. Go ahead. He listens for a while, then slowly sets the radio back down on the receiver.
What's he saying? Oh no, I know what it is. The back of the asteroid must have already fallen off. Guys, we're already doomed.
Kinsey says, What? Elvis, no, don't.
Why else
Shush.
would Brock be so upset? We can't mine the asteroid because it already broke apart and asteroid mining is all that we know.
No, simmer down. Someone is trying to contact the colony. It's a broad communications beam. Maybe sweeping an area that's light years wide.
Is it the Singers?
Interstellar communication is forbidden. It is the Singers trying to test us. Even now, they seek an opportunity to prove that we are untrustworthy. To abandon us here to die.
Or to warn us that the back end of the asteroid fell off.
We don't know who it is. We are not going to respond. The colony has 2 unbreakable laws. We aren't going to break them now. We will fill the quota. We will not communicate with anyone who does not already know where we are. Brock paces the room nervously. Is all that clear? We're going to do our last mining job, starting with blasting the back end of the asteroid. Padre, you're the most senior band member, so I thought the honor of planting the charges should be passed on to you. I see. My hair and I are honored. Good. And if there are no further questions, dismissed. We'll meet for work the first thing in the morning. Our first order of business will be cutting space to establish the airlock system. Everyone shuffles out of the meeting space.
This isn't good.
Don't worry, Mason. I'm sure you'll get to set the next exploding charge.
No, not that, Elvis. I mean, if we get started doing this, the whole plan's gonna fail and we're all gonna die.
Oh, yeah. That does sound kind of bad.
What if everything works out and we're all fantastically happy?
Shut up, Lowry.
Well, we can't just not do it.
Or can we?
No, I'm pretty sure we have to.
You guys are giving me an aneurysm. Try to work with me here.
I do work with you. I'm your coworker.
All right, guys, just let me think. Paul, is the blasting a remote charge, or do the band platforms do this with rockets or something?
In this case, you're going to plant the charge and then detonate it remotely.
Okay. Here's what we gotta do. First, we need to find out what Padre thinks of this. If he doesn't like the plan either, it's gonna fail eventually, even if he starts the blasting tomorrow. Obviously, we can't maintain top morale and self-delusion for a whole year of hard work, especially if the tribute crates wind up shallow the whole time.
Yeah, I get you, Mason. Nobody can deceive themselves forever. That's how I know most of the women are going to throw themselves at me eventually.
Yeah, thanks, Lowry. It takes a special kind of person to deceive themselves for so long.
Uh-huh.
You know, actually, probably a lot of people would hang on to hope. We don't want to be too open. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write a letter to Padre. Elvis, you just go ahead and palm this into Padre's hand. Make it look like you're drunk, stumble into him on accident, put the note in his hand, and leave.
I can do the drunk part.
Yeah, I know. That's why it's going to be so convincing. Next, I need to talk to one of the demolitionists. We don't have a lot of time, so as fast as possible, I want to get everything cleared and know the cards that we're playing.
All right, I'm going to start drinking now. I run back to my room and raid the mini fridge.
I find some paper and write a letter to Padre explaining why I think the plan will fail, and confess I don't think we should go through with it. Write in the letter that if Padre agrees, he should bend a bottle cap and set it on top of the bathroom windowsill. We'll try to coordinate without talking to one another so it looks like doubts about the plan are getting around organically and not being conspired. If I see the bottle cap, I'll leave another note tucked into a specific potted plant in the halls to be picked up after work.
Sweet, we're doing spy stuff. Girls love spy stuff.
Yeah, but Lowry, the entire point of this is not to tell people, though.
Unless you trust them, right?
No, not even if you trust them.
Well, then how are you and I going to communicate? Because I trust you.
We'll just stick to talking about what needs to be said. And you don't need to get in my pants, so you don't need to try to impress me by sharing information that I intentionally gave you.
Okay.
You look like you're not sure about this.
Okay, well, let's suppose that hypothetically, we manage to hijack a spaceship, but then it runs out of gas, and then it's just you and me stranded out in space.
Then what? We would share
No,
secrets?
I mean, like, should we then think about getting into each other's pants?
You know what?
I just want to say never.
Lowry,
Like, I
well,
don't want you to think, I don't want you to think I'm coming on to you. I just don't like the finality of saying that I'll never need to get in your pants.
I tell you what, we'll put a pin in that and circle back to it when it's relevant, okay?
All right. Thanks for hearing my concerns, Chief. This is why you're in charge.
Yeah. So anyway, your job is, I want you to keep an eye on the bathroom, and if Padre goes in there, check the windowsill for a bottle cap, all right?
You got it. I've already gotten in trouble a few times for hanging around the bathroom, so nobody will think it's weird.
I hate that you're my coworker. Where's Elvis? I got the note.
I'm right here.
Wow. It has been less than 3 minutes, and you're somehow already smashed. How?
I put them all down as fast as I could. Anything for the mission, boss. I got my strongest wheel on the road. And my homemade yams.
Great.
Moonshine.
All right, Elvis, do you still remember the mission?
Get drunk. Checkmark.
That wasn't even really step 1.
Well, lucky for you, because I checkmarked it.
All right. Listen to me
Steps
carefully.
all over the place now. Checks
Elvis,
and steps.
listen,
Checks and
Elvis.
steps.
I need you to bump into Padre.
Okay, I work with him.
I know.
He talks to his hair.
I know he does. You need to bump into him and then hand him this letter. I hand Elvis the letter.
I am 300% reliable. Steps and checks. You got it.
And it needs to look like an accident.
Right. Like a big old train wreck.
You know what? Maybe actually Lowry should do it.
What? No.
Yes?
No.
Maybe yes?
No, he's the one that I got drunk for this. I got drunk for
understand.
this.
But let me just hold on to the letter for now.
I start backing away. No, I got drunk for this. Larry's just Lowry. No one's gonna believe
Elvis,
he's drunk. I can do
this
it.
is very important, okay?
I run off.
And Elvis teeters away at high speed.
Oh my god. Okay, Lowry, go wait by the bathroom. I gotta go talk to somebody. Paul, I want to find someone on the demolitions team. One of the guys who's in charge of the explosives we're going to use to blow the back end of the mine, but a little lower down the chain. One of the assistants.
All right. A guy named Demo Dave is in charge of the explosives. You guys have explosive weaponry built into your band platforms, and in the past, Dave has been the one to authorize their use. He has a few apprentices, but since everything goes to you through Dave, you normally don't talk to them. In fact, Dave might be mad if you did.
Okay, that's going to be a problem. Would I recognize any of the assistants if I saw them? Actually, better yet, is there a female apprentice? Preferably someone my age or a little younger.
There's only maybe 5 people on the demo team. But sure, yeah, you've noticed a girl involved in some of the operations. She's kinda young. She's probably in her late teens, maybe entering 20s.
All right, perfect. That'll work. When it gets to be around dinner time, head down to the mess hall and keep an eye out for her.
Okay, for the sake of convenience, we'll say it's close to dinner time now. Elvis, you've run off with an important message that Mason wanted you to deliver, but you're not in your best state of mind, so what happens next?
I'm gonna do it. Everybody thinks I can't do my jobs while I'm drunk just 'cause it involves explosives and heavy machinery, but I'm an expert drunk. I can do it. I stumble around the halls looking for Padre until eventually I realize it's dinner time, and then I go to the mess hall because that's where everyone is. Also, I read Mason's letter because he didn't tell me not to.
No problem. You stumble around, you read the letter, and then work your way to the mess hall, where Mason is actually sitting in the corner, keeping an eye on the whole room.
Man, I said I could do it. I stumble over to Mason. Mason, what are you doing here? I said I could do it. I don't need help.
I believe you.
No, you don't. You're sitting around, reproachfully. You think I'm drunk.
Are you not? You were proudly proclaiming that you were.
I'm not as very drunk as you can be.
Okay. Well, can you go do whatever it is that you're gonna do somewhere else? I'm kind of scoping out a girl here.
You sound just like Lowry.
We all sound like Larry sometimes. It's the human condition, Elvis.
Okay, well, I need to get another beer.
So are you asking my permission? Also, is Elvis drawing a lot of attention to us?
Actually, he's not. You guys are basically celebrities. Everyone knows who you are, and everyone knows who Elvis is. He's been spotted under the influence by pretty much everyone in the colony at this point.
Listen, Mason, I need another beer.
So go get another beer.
No, listen. I need a bottle cap, but where do bottle caps come from?
From the processed metals that the singers give to us?
They come from a beer.
All right, tell you what. You go do what you need to do. Here's some cash. Buy a beer. Just give me some space for a while, okay?
All right, good luck. Don't say anything that Lowry would say, because if a girl wanted to know about your junk, she would just ask, right?
Words for the Book of Wisdom, Elvis. Thanks.
Hey, what if the girl's too nervous to ask? I'm not there.
All right, Elvis, you go to the kitchen and approach the chef. She takes a look at you and says, "Oh, look, it's Elvis. What'll it be? No, wait, let me guess. A non-alcoholic ginger ale."
Do they make non-alcoholic ginger ale?
All ginger ale is non-alcoholic. She tries to hand you a bottle of beer.
Then why do they call it ginger ale? They should call it ginger non-ale. Or just ginger. I don't want any ginger.
It's not ginger ale, it's beer.
But you just said that ginger ale is not beer.
The bottle I'm trying to hand to you right now is beer.
I don't want ginger ale, Nancy!
Lord, help me. She turns around and puts the bottle away and then pulls out another identical bottle and hands it to you. Okay, here. One beer just for you, not that you need any more. May this one finally be the death of you.
This didn't have to be this hard, Nancy, or this mean. You know, we could have been friends if you weren't so awful all the time.
Are you gonna pay me or what?
You're lucky that I don't make you pay me for emotional damages. I hand her some money. I go to bed thinking about these interactions, you know.
Good, you should think about it.
It's mental scarring. I walk backwards out of the line, making intense eye contact with Nancy.
You stumble into somebody and they spill their food.
Oh, jeez. Oh, God, I'm sorry. I fish a random amount of money out of my pocket and hand it to them. I was looking at Nancy. I stumble off and try to down this entire beer in like 5 seconds of chugging.
A trained expert in self-destruction, that beer is gone practically before you're back to the main mess area.
Okay, fine, Padre.
He's sitting at a table with his bandmates, eating dinner.
All right, try and fold up the paper so the Dear Padre part is facing up and he can see it. Put the bottle cap back on the beer. Once I realize I can't fold the paper straight, give up and just fold it however, but keep Dear Padre on the outside. Then walk over to Padre. Hey, Padre, could you throw this away for me? I hand him the letter and the bottle.
Throw it away yourself.
I would, but I can't remember where the trash is. Also, I think I'm gonna throw up.
Padre looks down at the letter you gave him. Wait a moment.
I run over to the trash and throw up. Blah! After throwing up, look back at Mason and give him both thumbs up.
Oh my god.
Mason!
Oh my god.
Hey, Mason!
Give the thumbs up back. Sleep it off, Elvis.
Okay. Don't forget to wear a condom. Everybody wear condoms. Stumble out of the mess hall.
Okay. Do I see sign of the demo girl assistant anywhere?
Yep, she's in the dinner line. She's wearing a bright red vest and fishnet stockings. She's painted a lightning bolt over her eye, which is a real popular trend with the young ladies right now.
Okay, get up and try to approach about as casually as I can. Hey, excuse me, you're with the demo team, aren't you?
Yeah, you're Mason, right? One of the band leaders?
Yeah, that's me. I see you around sometimes. You know, you wear that red vest and it stands out a lot. I was wondering, would you mind if I bought you some dinner?
Oh, yeah, I guess that'd be okay.
Okay, great. Come on. The band guys can go ahead of the line. It's for overtime stuff, but on casual days it's a nice perk. Hey, Nancy? I tap politely on the food guard.
Yeah, what do you need, Mason?
Could I get 2 specials? And do you like chocolate cake?
The girl nods. Yeah, I like chocolate cake.
Could we maybe get some chocolate cake?
Last one we got's getting a little stale, but it's still edible.
All right, that's good. I guess throw in 2 beers and thanks.
Nancy gets your dinner request. I don't suppose you're poaching for new band talent. That Elvis kid isn't gonna make it.
He's doing his best, Nancy.
His best isn't worth jack. I seen ones like him come and go.
All right, thanks, Nancy. So do you mind if I ask your name? I know we never get a chance to talk.
I'm Sasha, and we're not really supposed to talk, because if I give you any kind of wrong idea, there's a chance you'll blow yourself up. So, can't talk work with you.
Really? That's going to take a lot of small talk off the table.
I know, right? And it's not like there's not a lot to talk about right now.
There is so much I can't even remember what I'm not supposed to bring up.
Hey, well, that's all right. We'll just not talk about work.
Okay.
You guys sit down. Sasha gets herself situated with her silverware and everything in place, and she says, "So, you gonna wear a condom, or?"
I mean, I don't usually, on a first date.
Relax, I'm just guessing that you blabbed to your friend about your dinner plans here.
Yeah. I mean, Elvis and I work together all the time, so, you're nervous about something, you gotta talk to somebody.
Really? You're nervous about talking to me?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. There's always that fear of rejection, and, I don't want you to think that I expect you to agree to anything,
The girls turn guys like you down?
Yeah. I mean, heck yes. I mean, not me, but Lowry, pretty much all the time. I'm not sure I've ever seen him get a girl.
Really? He seems funny.
Does he? Has he ever come on to you before?
Yeah, but as like a joke.
As a joke? What did he say?
Well, one day he comes up to me and he says, "Girl, are you dynamite? Because you're gonna make my heart explode." Then he thought about it for a few seconds, and he started to explain that putting an explosive charge in his heart would cause an increase in blood pressure. I never heard a guy try such a line in my life, and then just double down.
That's,
I didn't know what to say. I mean, we're not even supposed to really talk during working hours.
But you heard that, and you took it as just him being funny.
Well, it's gotta be. He keeps updating me on the joke and clarifying certain sections of it. It's like he's trying out a stand-up routine. One time he asked me for help to figure out what kind of bomb would work if you put it in somebody's heart. And I don't think I was allowed to even guess in case it gave him bad ideas on something. I mean, is he not joking?
No, that is Lowry legitimately coming on to you, and I have heard him do worse.
Well, heck.
Yeah, I guarantee he has no idea that it's a running comedy bit to you.
Okay. Wow. Well, that changes a lot about that.
Yeah, hey, but don't worry about it, though. He does that to everybody, and I've never seen it work.
Ooh, well, now I don't know what to think.
Well, you wouldn't go for Elvis, would you?
I feel like I'm not really his type. He's like a party animal, and I'm more about, reading and stuff.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because, there's a lot of chemistry and math involved in demo work, and a lot of safety features, so if you don't like to read,
I assume you blow yourself up.
Well, no. You would, but Dave won't let you anywhere near the practical stuff if he doesn't think you're at the level to handle it. All it takes is one stray spark, and your career is genuinely up in flames.
Well, do you do much recreational reading?
Yeah, kinda sorta, when I get the time.
I'm really into history and politics, personally. It's why I ask. I'd kind of like to write an autobiography someday.
Well, that sounds cool. I'd read that. I don't even know that stuff about Larry. I bet you could find a lot of interesting things to say about all the band members.
Man, you've got no idea. It's like a crisis per minute with those guys. It is nuts.
Well, I bet. But it seems like you got a pretty level head. I guess that's why you're the leader. Boy, you're gonna have a lot to write about after this last job, huh?
I'm gonna have a ton.
I heard the station got contacted by someone from space.
Pretty sure that's one of those things I can't talk about.
See, but that just goes to show it did happen, or else you'd say it didn't. So is there anything you can tell me about it?
If I can be honest, right now that's all that we know, but I tell you what, I'm going to keep my eyes open, and if I hear anything else, how about we get together again, let's say tomorrow after work. If you promise not to spread it around, maybe I can tell you about it. Paul, where do people usually go out on dates in this asteroid colony?
The hydroponics garden can be pretty. You can take a walk around there and enjoy the scenery.
Let's take a walk around the hydroponics garden.
Well, that, Mr. Mason, is a date that I can't say no to. Thank you for the dinner and the cake. It was lovely, and I'll see you again.
Thanks for letting me buy you dinner. I'll see you then.
She gathers up her stuff and she goes. Lowry, you're waiting at the bathroom when Padre comes by. He makes direct eye contact with you. He's got an empty beer bottle in one hand. He goes in for a little bit and then leaves without the beer bottle. When you go in, you find he left the bottle and a bent bottle cap there on the windowsill.
All right, go meet up with Mason.
You'll probably get back together in Mason's room. Real quick, Elvis, what'd you go off to do?
I don't know, and I won't remember. I'm probably asleep.
Okay, Lowry, you meet with Mason back at his room.
How'd it go?
Hungry? I skipped dinner.
Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't think about it until it was too late.
Well, if you thought about it, you could have saved me a bread roll or something.
Well, the time kind of came up on me by surprise. I wasn't really thinking about dinner when I put you outside the bathroom.
Well, whatever. Your guy came by, and he dropped off a bent bottle cap. That means he's into you, right?
Perfect. Now all we gotta do is write him a little love letter.
Oh, I could help with that.
It's a metaphorical love letter. I mean, I'm gonna express my plans to him.
Well, you should have been writing that while I was starving to death outside the bathrooms.
I couldn't. I was busy setting some stuff up. I had to meet with a lady.
Wait, why'd you meet with a lady? I could meet with a lady. I'm really good at ladies.
Nah, you didn't have a chance with this one. She thinks you're weird.
They all think I'm weird. I need to try a different approach. I think I just about got it figured out.
We'll work on it with someone else. I got plans for this girl. Pretty soon, Brock's whole suicide mission is going to be safely in the grave, and in a few weeks we're going to be talking about real ways to tackle our problem.
Man, Mason, we started this game talking about how role-playing romance gets awkward, and then you turn around and start dating an NPC.
Listen, Lowry, the honeypot is a legitimate political maneuver.
You know, technically, you do get something out of a happy relationship, too. Isn't it only a honey trap if it's a trap for somebody?
Well, it is a trap, Elvis. She doesn't know it, but she's dating a player character.
That is a fate worse than death.
Okay, but being a sociopathic non-person still doesn't count as a honeypot. I don't think.
Well, then it's not a honeypot. I just plan to be terrible. That's also legitimate. That's a maneuver.
I mean, we've had games where we used romance to distract guards and stuff. There's times and places. But the start of a new workday isn't one of those times. Mason, I think you wanted to write a letter to Padre?
I do, Paul.
And I'd like to hover over Mason and offer my input.
Excuse me, could you give me some room?
In your love letter? No. See, common misconception. You want to close in as tight as you can on this person, or else they'll think you're not interested. Pretty sure that's where I've gone wrong a couple of times.
I'm not trying to date Padre. I'm trying to collude with him politically.
What are politicians if not the wealthy equivalent of drunk, abusive lovers?
You know...
Think about it. You promise everyone the moon, but then you blow them off to pursue other interests.
Is this helping? Do you want me to write that in my letter to Padre? P.S. Lowry thinks that we're lying drunks.
No, but you could tell him that you don't know how he got a butt so fine if it's not from running towards your open arms all his life.
He doesn't even have that great of a butt. I'm not going to write that.
Well, that's okay. I'll write it. Does it not make sense? I mean, it's like implying that it's his destiny to hook up with you. So he's been moving towards you his whole life.
Would you go? You shut up.
You run with your butt. So presumably, all that moving towards destiny really tones the glutes.
Hey guys, are we ready for work?
In a minute, Elvis.
What are you doing?
We're writing a love letter to Padre.
Oh, what happened with your girl, Mason? Did that not work out?
He's hedging his bets. Classic strategy.
Mason, you can do better than Padre. He talks to his own hair. That's crazy. You shouldn't stick it in crazy.
At least not more than a couple of times, anyway. You know, just in case the whole crazy thing is only temporary, and the solution might be a hookup.
Listen.
Like, I could swear I've heard of a few cases where a one-night stand cured somebody's schizophrenia.
Larry, guys, I cannot concentrate with the two of you in this room. Go outside and just give me 5 minutes, okay?
Fine.
Okay. Reconsider your life choices, though. I wouldn't date Padre. I go outside.
Man, can you believe Mason? He's gonna screw up this whole thing. You know what, why don't you and I write a letter too? We'll see which one Padre responds to.
I don't want to date Padre.
Well, we don't have to date him. There's nothing wrong with having an option on the table. It's nice just knowing he's an option.
Well, I don't think people would find that very romantic. Dear Padre, we're considering you as a romantic option, but presently you failed to meet our qualifications. Please reapply at the next opportunity. With love, potentially, Lowry and Elvis.
Actually, you know what? That's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna write him.
That we're rejecting him as a lover?
Yeah, it's reverse psychology. But it's also true. He'll think we want him, but that we actually don't.
I'm totally lost.
Don't worry. Even an expert like myself doesn't quite understand these romantic twists and turns. The important thing is just to keep him guessing. And also to get a letter back when Mason doesn't get one. then Mason's gonna feel really dumb and ask for our help on all the future letters.
Wait, so are we actually trying to date Mason?
I guess on like a metaphorical level. We'll play it by ear and go forward with whoever shows the most interest.
Okay, Elvis and Lowry write their own letter to Padre. Mason, what are you writing yours?
Inform Padre of my complete lack of faith in Brock's plan. Let him know that if he expresses himself as being against the mining effort, I'll take whatever steps possible to support that, and at least won't make any moves openly contradictory to his. If you'd like to coordinate, place a letter in the air vent in one of the maintenance areas, then put an orange peel on the bathroom windowsill. When I spot the orange peel, I'll retrieve the letter. I'll leave a blue pen cap and a specific potted plant in the mess hall to indicate I received the letter. If I couldn't find the letter, it'll be a red pen cap. And when I'm done with all this, write all that down so I don't forget it myself. Mix it in with my annotations in one of my non-fiction books. I'll choose a page number that corresponds with the current day of the year.
Great. You write a very serious spy letter, and then Lowry and Elvis write a letter of romantic rejection.
I don't know about Lowry and Elvis's letter, so on the way to work, I slip my letter into the soil of a potted hallway plant and assume that things are good.
After Mason moves on, I find his letter, then put my letter with his so that Padre doesn't find one letter and think that it's the only one there.
Oh, that's smart, Lowry, because otherwise there's only a 50-50 chance he'd fall in love with us.
See, this is why they call me the Cavern Casanova.
Do they call you that? I've always heard them call you Leary Lowry.
Deb calls me that. Who calls me Leary Lowry?
I don't know. Sometimes I party with girls, and they talk. Maybe it's only those girls.
I don't leer.
Well, I don't think you do. At least not at me. I don't think.
I don't. I've never leered at you.
Okay. I mean, I've never checked.
I don't. Why would I leer at you?
Well, I mean, pants are forbidden. Maybe just for comparison.
No, it's not leering. That's comparing. Okay, look. Let's just go before Padre comes by.
All right, you guys report in for work. Get all suited up and then paint it in your brightly colored stage makeup, which informs people that you're working and operating heavy machinery. No one's supposed to approach anyone wearing stage makeup without a signal from you. Padre's trying very obviously not to make eye contact with you, Mason.
Just play casual. Padre's a weird guy on the best of times.
Brock gets up to brief everyone. He explains the technical mechanics of how you'll be carving space for the airlocks. Crews will come in behind you and finish that work when you're done, and he estimates that the whole process should take no more than 1 or 2 weeks. In the meanwhile, blasting crews will be preparing charges and doing the math for the final excavation.
Man, 2 weeks is not a lot of time. Raise my hand.
Yes, Mason.
Hey, Brock. Word's kind of getting around about that phone call that we got. Would it be too out of line to ask if we know anything new about it?
There's not a lot to say right now. A new call will come in intermittently, but there tends to be a long gap between signals. We're not sure how far off the call is, but if the gaps are due to the distance the signal has to travel, we estimate it must be pretty far. And as you know, answering that call could be the last thing we ever do. So for now, we're just hoping it goes away.
All right. Roger.
Dismissed. You guys head into the mines and start carving space for the airlocks. It's fairly routine work, nothing too terribly exciting. You get off in the evening, you go back to the lockers and pack everything in.
Hey, Paul. Deb is one of the equipment managers for the band platforms, right?
Yep, Big Deb, one of the few women to show you interest, is an older lady, bit on the heavy side, and she handles the maintenance and checking of the equipment.
Well, I'd like to go see Deb. Is she available?
She is. She's clearing the gear right now, but otherwise she's not busy with anything.
Hey there, lovebird. Good work today. We'll get those airlocks installed in no time.
Thanks, Deb. You mind if I help you clean?
Sure. Here, take a brush. Try and get as much grease out as you can. I'll give it another go if some of it stays gummed up in there.
All right. Do an objectively bad job at scrubbing this thing, get both bored and frustrated, then hand my piece off to Deb, then start badly cleaning another piece. Hey, Deb, would you say that I'm leery?
Leery?
Yeah, do you think I leer at people?
Oh, leery. Okay. No, but you are known to come on a little strong.
Well, it's just that Elvis was saying some girls he parties with call me Leary Lowry, and I didn't know if that was a widespread thing.
Oh, Larry, don't worry yourself about Elvis's little floozy girlfriends. You have to know what kind of people they must be. I'm surprised any of them can remember anything they've said about anyone. And I'd say they should look hard in the mirror before they start tearing other people down, but I know human nature all too well.
I guess. I just don't like thinking that's how people talk about me. I'm just trying to be romantic,
Larry. Well, I think that sentiment by itself is pretty romantic.
Although I guess it must not count for a lot of points because it doesn't seem to be scoring me anything.
Well, I didn't say you weren't being daft stupid. Just romantic.
Wait, but isn't romantic sexy?
Lowry, the word for romantic is a synonym for unrealistic. You can pour honey in someone's ears all you want, but in the end, it's just full of sugar. And if you don't remember to clean it out, it can cause an ear infection.
Well, what if you poured them wine?
What do you mean, what if you poured them wine?
Well, like honey is bad, but if you pour wine on someone, would that make them sick? Alcohol's a disinfectant, isn't it? See, but it's also romantic, so if you pour wine on
Lowry,
them, then that would be
you poor sweetheart. Say, what are you doing for dinner tonight?
Probably going to the cafeteria, because that's where the food is. What's Nancy serving?
I think lasagna. But how about we go get dinner together, you buy me a bottle of wine, and we'll talk about your theories.
Okay. I feel like we really explored the end of my wine question, but, okay.
Oh, you're so daft stupid, dear. I'll see you tonight.
Alright, see you then. Paul, I assume that dinner is pretty soon, so I'll go down to the cafeteria, pick out some wine. Hey, Nancy, I need a bottle of wine. I'm not sure what for exactly.
Nancy hands you a bottle of wine over the counter and gives you a look as though you're about to draw on the walls with magic marker, and there's nothing she could do to stop you.
Thanks, Nancy. I don't know why you seem so mad. It's just a bottle of wine. I can have wine if I want.
Try to bring the bottle back intact. And clean.
Okay, whatever. Cleaning the bottles is the kitchen job. And then I guess I go wait for Deb. I'll get dinner for both of us when she arrives, so it's still hot.
Okay, and Elvis, what are you up to?
I won't remember soon, but go and find those girls that called Lowry Leary. Hey, ladies!
Hi, Elvis!
Hey, I told Lowry that you guys called him Leary Lowry, and he seemed a little sad. You think maybe that was too mean?
I don't know. Hey, do you want to smoke these drugs we found?
Yeah, sure. Don't tell me what they are, though. It ruins the fun. Also, what were your names again?
Oh my god. Well, my name is...
Wait. Okay, I changed my mind. Don't tell me. That also ruins the fun.
Okay, and that might proceed into a no-memory thing whatsoever.
These are the people whose opinions concern me.
Indeed. Mason, you have a date with Sasha at the hydroponics bay.
Everybody's got lady friends tonight.
So it seems. At any rate, you guys are walking around the bay, looking at the various bean plants and berry bushes, making small talk, and then Sasha asks you, "So what'd you find out about that call from outer space?"
Well, nothing yet. I wish I had more I could tell you about it, but it feels like everything's falling apart all at once. Nobody knows anything about the call, a bunch of the band members aren't confident in the current plans, and the surveyors say there's probably not even enough minerals left in the asteroid to fill the crates.
They said that?
I mean, I'm not supposed to talk about that. Sorry, I've just been under a lot of stress. Could you promise not to bring that up with anyone?
So, what are they going to do?
Well, it's not good. You really don't want to know.
Okay, you can't just do that. You can't say it's bad and then tell me I don't want to know.
Well, you're part of the blasting team. Don't they keep you in the loop?
All I know is we're blasting the back end of the asteroid.
Okay, well, that's so we can start tearing apart the entire asteroid from back to front. After we do that, we're just supposed to pray, and that'll be the end. The livestock won't survive, there won't be any space to span living quarters into, and the asteroid itself is going to become unstable. There'll be no shot at life whatsoever when we're done.
Oh, heck.
Padre and I have both been expressing misgivings, but Brock won't have it.
But that's 2 of the 3 band leaders. That should be enough to get Brock to consider a new plan, shouldn't it?
I don't think so. It's all coming up so fast, they're trying to blow a hole in the asteroid in only a few days. They're not even sure they can do the whole mining job within the year.
Well, that's crazy.
Yeah, I agree. But that's what Brock has us dialed in for, and I really don't know what to do.
Sasha goes quiet for a while. She doesn't say anything for a good few minutes.
Hey, again, I wasn't supposed to bring this up. Brock thinks that if word gets out, there's going to be a panic.
Yeah, or an uprising, more like.
Well, the people would have good reason. And okay, try to go back into small talk until Sasha's ready to go home. I'm going to call that seed planted. I'm going to go check the bathroom for an orange peel.
You check the sill, and there it is, an orange peel. Which means you need to casually find yourself in maintenance, where you open a vent and find a letter there waiting for you.
All right, take it back to my room and read it.
Padre writes that he's glad to know that he isn't alone in opposition to Brock's plan, and he believes that the broad majority of the colony would certainly feel the same if they knew of it. He suggests that the most logical course, therefore, is to leak word of the plan before it takes place, and to ensure that it spreads so quickly and to so many people that it becomes impossible to trace the leak back to any one person. Padre notes that you should probably avoid using Elvis and Lowry for that, because they're likely the first people that Brock will expect to run their mouths about such a delicate operation. He suggests that you continue to use the air vents as drop-off points. If Padre sees a blue pen cap in the potted plant, he'll seek out your message in the following day.
Okay, right back to him. Firstly, it's not a good idea to keep placing letters in the same location. If we keep making out of the ordinary trips to the same air vent, it's going to get suspicious and someone's going to look into it, out of morbid curiosity if nothing else. Second, I'm led to believe that Brock has a bit of a soft spot for Elvis. He tries not to, but sometimes he holds Elvis's hair back when Elvis is on one of his benders. Elvis might be able to spread around rumors and get away with it. As we go about spreading word, I'd like to put out feelers on the other departments to see what they think of the plan. That includes survey, demo, equipment, and anyone else willing to listen. If they feel like they're being targeted, they'll resist us. But if we both casually approach the situation and spread rumors at the same time, I think we can tease out their stances. If enough project heads have misgivings, we might be able to snuff this thing out before it gets too far. Let's focus on that for now, report progress, and otherwise avoid coordinating our narratives too much until we know who's who. For the next letter, I'd like you to hide in the hydroponics behind one of the condenser trays. Careful not to place it where it'll get wet. I've been taking walks there to that location, and it'll seem more natural. Then seal the letter, put it in the vents, and then drop a blue pen cap in the right place.
Okay, Elvis, you're with your lady friends. You're all drunk or high or both, and the girls take you back to their residential apartment.
Oh my god, my heart's gonna explode. Feels like light is coming out of it. Oh yeah, I've had that. It turns out it's just gas. It's natural gas. Oh my god, we're so funny. We're having so much fun. We're fun. We're funny. Hey Elvis, make out with me. Okay. Oh man, I can't believe Larry has so much trouble with this. It's so easy. Are you calling me easy? No, making out is easy. I once made out with a lizard. It scratched up my arm real bad. Lizards don't feel love because they have cold blood, so that lizards they respond very well to my advances. But I like to think, yeah, had we been together, would the lizard like that? Huh? What? I don't know. You go on. Are we gonna make out? Yeah. Just give me a second. I gotta make sure I don't have anything in my teeth. Paul, I go to the bathroom and look for a mirror. Then I throw up. Then I check my teeth to make sure that they look okay.
Right, you're checking your teeth, and you hear a loud thump and a crash, and the sound of glass breaking.
What was that? Oh my god. What was that? Oh my god. I go out there. I said, what was that?
You see one of the girls is on her knees. There's a broken wine glass on the ground. It looks like the girl is kind of leaning her arm on some of the glass. There's a huge gash down her head, and it's bleeding like crazy.
Oh, whoa. Did you break that wine glass? Those are expensive. She hit her head. I think a lot of glass has to come from export. This is the last year the silent singers might come by. Elvis, she's bleeding.
The other girl goes,
I was just trying to sit down. I don't feel so good.
And then she throws up.
Okay. You gotta apply pressure to the wound. She has to see a doctor. Come on, you gotta see a doctor. Okay, but she has to apply pressure to the wound. Well, help her up then, Elvis. I go and I help her up, and then I look for a rag to press against her head. Okay, see, you gotta do this. Because if you go to the doctor, it's the first thing they're gonna say. They say, did you put pressure on the wound? And if you say no, they're gonna be like, amateur mistake. Come back after you try that. Do they really do that? I don't know, I'm pretty sure.
The girl has gotten glass all stuck in her arm. Her friend points at it.
What about this? That I don't think we do pressure on that. I think the glass stops the bleeding. There's a rhyme. It goes, when in doubt, don't pull out.
That's for sex, you moron.
No! That one goes, when in doubt, fiddle about.
Are you sure you don't have them backwards?
Well, they say also, when in doubt, scream and shout. For help.
No one says that.
They will one day. They're gonna write it down. Let's go scream and shout for doctors for help. Let's go.
You stumble down the halls with a bleeding woman hanging off of you. A few gasp and ask if you need help.
No, we're good. We got the pressure. We're going to the doctor. When in doubt, fiddle about, don't worry.
You get the girl to med bay. It's not as bad as it looks, but they have to give her a bunch of stitches and pluck all the glass out of her arm. It takes a while, and towards the end, you come down. You're not exactly sober, but you're not having a fun time anymore.
Oh, man. What were we gonna do? Were we gonna make out?
I guess. Something like that, yeah.
Man, maybe this is why Larry can't get a girl. Every time he gets close, they slip and they hit their head.
I'm not even the one who hit my head. Elvis, Brock walks into the room. He sees you sitting there and points at you. You. With me.
Aw. I get up and I go out with Brock.
Elvis, you told me you were going to try and lay off. Have you been trying to quit?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Look, I know it's not an easy thing to do, but it's not just for you right now. Everyone in the colony is nervous, and I'm trying my best to keep us all on a path. How do you think it makes them feel to see you walking down the hall, smashed out of your mind, and there's this poor girl leaking blood down the halls attached to you?
Well, they're gonna wonder what happened to the girl.
They're gonna think it involved drugs. And they're gonna think that you don't have what it takes to work in the band. They don't interact with you on a first-hand basis. They don't see how skilled you are with the keytar in those minds. And listen, look at me. Some of that talent is natural. We can't just pick up anyone else and have them learn the instrument as quickly as you, but part of that is also years of investment, Elvis. Years of practice that you rightly put in.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna make out with the girl.
Look, I'm not seeking an excuse. I'm not personally mad with you. I know it's not easy to quit. But right now I'm telling you, I'm counting on you, Elvis. You and the rest of the bands to put on that face that says, we're gonna make it. We're gonna get through this. All right, because you are going to pull us through. And you are that talented. I'm depending on you.
Okay.
You know I don't like to lay into you like this.
I know.
But if the drugs get ahead of you, and it's all anyone sees out in front of you, that's all they're going to talk about. It's all they're going to know. For the rest of the year, as much as you can, I want you to present everyone with your best self. All right? I know he's in there. You might be feeling a little loopy right now, but you don't have to work too hard because that guy is you. You got me?
Yeah. I get you, Brock. I'm sorry.
No. Hey, I'm glad you took this girl to medbay. It was the right thing. Okay, caring for others is what this is all about. I just want you to care for you too, okay?
Okay.
Brock pats you on the chest, and then in sort of the awkward way he does after this kind of thing, he nods and leaves.
Go back in the med bay and flop down in the chair. Man. So do you still want to make out?
Paul, when are we gonna stab somebody?
I mean, whenever you want, Larry. Just like in real life, you'll always have the ability. It's just that there's gonna be some consequences.
I feel like we don't usually stab people. I mean, yes, we kill NPCs all the time, but often through violent negligence.
Well, when are we gonna negligently kill some NPCs? I feel like so far all our problems are really far away, and killing someone to assert dominance won't help.
We have drowned people in beans, Elvis, and in pizza dough, and let's never forget about Captain Hot Sauce Man. That was pretty gruesome.
Okay, Mason. When I made Captain Hot Sauce Man, I was thinking, like, pepper spray. And then people got open wounds during battles, and Paul took some liberties with describing the effects. In fairness, Captain Hot Sauce Man was as horrified as anyone.
Yeah, but people respected Captain Hot Sauce Man, at least after the first encounter.
Well, with destruction on the table or not, Lowry, you had a nice dinner with Deb. She tried to talk you into the idea of taking a bath in wine, but it would be really expensive.
Also sticky. She was worried about bacterial infection from honey, but there's a lot of sugar in wine, too.
Mason has his spy stuff, and Elvis, you eventually go back to your quarters after they confirm that that girl's gonna be okay.
Actually, I want to talk to Mason.
Okay, Mason, what are you up to?
Probably annotating my books again. It's my only hobby, really.
Hey, Mason, can I talk to you for a second?
Sure, what's up?
Well, I just been thinking, like, is it a really good thing that we're trying to secretly destroy the whole mining operation?
What? Why? What do you mean?
Well, like, that's what we're supposed to do, right? Is mine the asteroid?
You can't squeeze blood from a stone. There's nothing left to mine.
That's true, but our whole society is based around this mining operation, so if we stop doing that, don't we have to base society on something else?
I mean, I guess we'll revolve it around not doing that. Whose fault is this?
I mean, I don't know. God, I guess.
The singers are who we blame this on, who are not gods, by the way, because if they were, they'd snap their fingers and the asteroid would be mined. They wouldn't need us.
Well, I get that, but I was thinking moreover, like, everybody in our community kind of needs us?
What are you trying to get at?
Like, what if, in respect for that, all of us agreed to not do as much drugs?
You're the only one who's doing drugs.
Well, I'm just saying, what if, on average, as an entire group, we all agreed to do slightly fewer drugs? For the kids, to impress the kids. Like on Monday we take a break.
Well, you're responsible for 100% of the average, so if you did that, yeah, it would lower the average drug use.
Hey guys, what are we up to?
Oh, hey, Larry.
Elvis was just suggesting that on Mondays, what if none of us do drugs?
Oh yeah, Okay, I'm on board for that.
Okay, cool. See? So we've all agreed that on Monday, we're just not going to smoke random stuff that people hand to us, no matter how cool it looks, and that'll be the rule from now on, that we all follow.
Yeah, that's a really good rule. I've not been doing that, but I really like that it's going to be, official.
Elvis is just going to break the rule.
No, I won't. I'm the one who's
Mason.
He's going
proposing
to break the rule, and then he's going to come back here with a huge dramatic story about how he tried and he failed.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, huh?
Nuh-uh, because it won't be a story. It barely has a beginning, middle, and end. It was a Monday, and then I smoked something because it looked cool, and I didn't know what it was. That's not a story, Mason.
It starts with Monday, in the middle you smoke a drug, and it ends with you crying about it. It's not a good story, but technically it counts.
No, you're only making leeway for the definition of a story to win the argument. It's not a real story. No one will want to
you
hear
could
it.
flesh it out with more details about your motives, and it would become a story, right? There would be an internal conflict and everything, like the story of your struggle.
It's an external conflict. Drugs are attacking me.
No, it is internal. It is a classic tale of man versus self.
No, because someone keeps giving the drugs to me. All right, that is an externality. There is an external conflict.
You don't have to accept them. No one is forcing them on you. All right, there is an internal conflict.
You don't understand me. You don't understand story structure. I storm out.
Man, Mason, a story can have both internal and external conflicts.
Larry,
Elvis could be influenced by his friends negatively, and that's external.
I don't even know what that was about. He originally came in here complaining about the mining operation.
Oh, well, he might have been high. Still, you probably ought to try to support him a little better.
Why don't you support him? I've got stuff to do. I'll support him when you support him.
I did. I was willing to put it in writing that we don't do drugs on Monday.
Great, we'll chisel it into a stone and put it up over the mantle. Okay, good job. Paul, I head out to find Sasha.
All right, we'll say it's that time of day. You go to meet up with her.
Okay, take her to one of the remote parts of the colony, where we won't see very many people. So, Sasha, I've been thinking a lot about what's going on with the mining colony. If just the slightest thing goes wrong, none of Brock's plans are going to work. If that happens late in the game, there's no going back. But what if something happened at the very start of the operation?
What do you mean? Like if somebody got hurt?
No, what if the ignition fuses for the blasting charges were faulty or something?
Oh.
Look, I'm not trying to back you into a corner or anything, and I'm not saying you have to, but I think if maybe there was some sort of early setback, Brock might lose faith in his own plan, and we could try to stop and negotiate a better one.
Well, we have backup fuses. There's some redundancy built into all these systems. They'd all have to be faulty.
It's all right. I'm sorry. I'm just speaking out of nervousness. You shouldn't take it seriously.
No. I've been thinking about this a lot too since I learned about it, but if Brock's current plan fell through, what do we do next?
I suppose that in a year, we could tell the singers we couldn't get their loot, and after that we find out what happens. If they fly off and we never see them again, then we have to work from there.
Is that really all we got?
That's the only one that leaves staying alive on the table if the singers don't pull through for us. But here's how I see it. If the singers really are benevolent, they'll help us either way. If this relationship is purely transactional, they'll drop us as soon as we have nothing left to offer. We've got no leverage over the singers, so everything is up to their behavior, which we've never tested like this before.
All right. I'll get that. I think you're right. I'm not going to promise anything, but I'll look at it.
Will you give it some real thought? Let me know if you need anything from me.
I will. But don't worry, I think I can handle it. Lowry, Elvis, are you guys up to anything of note in the meanwhile?
Nope.
I want to go find Brock.
Brock's in his office. It looks like he's going over the plans for the deconstruction of the asteroid. Hello, Elvis. What can I do for you?
I just wanted to come in here and tell you, sir, I'm planning on laying off of drugs and alcohol every Monday.
All right. That's good. It's not a good idea to quit cold turkey. Withdrawal's not a friendly creature.
Yeah. It's just, I told Mason and Lowry, and, I don't know, they didn't seem very supportive.
Oh. Well, look, Elvis, a substance problem can be pretty trying for everyone around you. All your friends do really want you to get better, I can promise you that, but it's a very long road, and everyone always gets their hopes up too soon. And then, as you know, if it doesn't pan out, everyone feels sad and disappointed, and sooner or later they can get a little jaded.
Sure, okay, but I still wanted someone to be excited for it, because a lot of my drug friends still want me to do all the drugs, and they think it's really funny. I never ask what I'm taking. They're like, here, take this, and then it's like a mothball or something.
Well, I'm still rooting for you, and if you can stick to just Mondays of sobriety for now, I'll be proud of you. And also, word to the wise, they may seem like more fun, but your drug friends sound like kind of awful people.
I mean, sometimes it's not a mothball.
Well, it
And
just
of course, no one's ever in their best state of mind when they have you eat a mothball.
No, I suppose they wouldn't be.
Do you think I'm gonna end up like Lowry?
What do you mean, will you end up like Lowry?
Well, I noticed that Lowry doesn't have a lot of women in his life, and I do, but all my women are mentally impaired, so I'm kind of wondering if I have to fish in a less grungy pond. Am I still gonna have the same kind of luck?
Sure. Yes, I mean, when looking for a serious relationship, you're liable to strike out more than once. We all do. Anyone who says anything otherwise is just blowing smoke. But if you were clean, you're still young, and I'm sure that there's someone out there for you.
But will the new girls do all the same stuff that the old ones do? Because my old ones have low self-esteem and would do, anything.
Elvis,
And I mean, anything, you know?
in the long term,
Like
a
one time,
relationship is...
I rented one of those floor buffers, right? And I was drunk when I got it, but then I was too lazy to use it. And later, I had a girl come over and I asked if she wanted to buff and polish the floors. And I was inebriated at the time. I didn't think she'd do it, but she totally tried. She did not do a very good job, but 70% of the floor was shiny like brand new after that. And I don't want to lose that in my relationships.
Just to be clear, this isn't a metaphor for something in the bedroom.
No.
Buffing is
I
not
mean, for that type of thing, I figure you just communicate, like everybody. But
Okay.
But I don't know if I've heard of anyone's wife to be willing to take a risk on operating a floor buffer on the cold open like that. I mean, that's the drug life, man. That's the wildness.
Well, there's more to life than a polished floor. Elvis, are you impaired right now?
No. Maybe a little. Is it obvious? I thought I was covering it pretty well.
You gave up the game a little towards the end. Elvis, listen, ideally in 20 years, the floor buffer thing and many other stories will just be amusing anecdotes far behind you. But the important thing is that you not give in to despair or start thinking you'll never get out, because it's important that you do, and that you keep up your spirits. I'm looking forward to you cutting substances out of your Mondays, and I'm looking forward to you taking more days off down the line. And I tell you what, as soon as you get a whole month with no drugs, and you're not having any withdrawal, I'll come and buff the floors. We'll make it an event.
Really? Like a theme party?
Sure. Maybe we'll do a floor buffing race or something. We'll do a little morale boost for the entire colony. If you make it, maybe we'll talk about doing another fun party past that. And that's your goal. Every milestone, we do something fun for the whole colony. And no one has to know it has specifically to do with you. It'll just be between you and me on that secret.
Okay. Cool.
Very cool, yes. Keep at it, Elvis. Was there anything else that you need?
No. I gotta plan out my calendar and get the floor buffer level sobriety.
Fantastic. All right, keep me posted. And okay, the next workday rolls around and goes by mostly uneventfully, but Brock and Demo Dave have a brief argument towards the end of the afternoon. They don't talk about the details, so it's nothing but the rumor mill until the following day. All right, listen up, bandmates. Looks like we've had an incident with some of the chemicals we use to make our blasting charges, so we're going to have to improvise. Today we're going to empty out your missile pods and use that material to prepare our blasting, so be advised, you're going to have to go without, and we won't be able to replenish that ammunition. That's all.
Dang it. After work, try and get a hold of Sasha.
She agrees to meet with you for another walk in hydroponics.
Hey, Sasha, did you happen to do that thing that we discussed?
I don't recall us discussing anything in particular.
Right. Sorry. I must have gotten confused. Okay, Paul, I guess we'll just have a nice normal date and not talk about the sabotage.
Fair enough. But as another point of interest, you notice that Padre left you the signal to communicate. You go to collect his message, and it says the following. I believe Brock is unwilling to give up on his misguided plans. Even if all the professional equipment is destroyed at once, we'll be forced to pick away at the asteroid with chisels and hammers if Brock thinks it will prove to the singers that we're working hard. Therefore, I suggest we take more direct action and address the problem at its roots. Brock will not allow a day to go by without at least one band working, and we can use this to furnish our goals. I would like you to announce an end-of-the-world party for all 3 bands. I would like for you to serve spoiled meat to cause sickness to all attendees. I will insist that I plan my own party of a similar vein so as to excuse my bandmates from going, but my hair and I will attend your party as a show of good grace. With all bands but mine sickened and all band leads out of commission, Brock will be forced to lead a band himself, with my own loyal crew behind his back. They will offer him some persuasion, and with that I believe the problem will be solved.
Oh, Padre is escalating pretty quickly. Okay, I gotta think about this one. You know what, in fact, maybe I haven't been diplomatic enough with Brock. For his sake, I'm gonna try one more time to reason with him.
You know, if Padre finds out that you met with Brock after this letter... sorry, never mind, I'm not there.
You are right, voice in my head, but Padre's a bit of a kook. Apparently more of one than I thought. I'm pretty sure if it comes to an open fight with the guy, I can take him.
But Self, what if Padre is a rival male who tries to steal your female? You need to pee on his stuff to assert your dominance.
Okay, valid. I thought you were the voice in the back of my head that warns me about impending danger, but clearly you're one of the deeper monkey bits. Look, voice, I'm not going to take that off the table.
Pee on his things!
Listen, I'm not going to take that off the table. Definitely going to remember that I can do that, but I'm really more about social status right now, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, social status equals girls.
It sure does. And the best bananas. Paul, I go to see Brock.
You find Brock in his office going over some documents. You can see at a glance it's a series of record sheets for signing materials in and out.
Excuse me, Brock, am I interrupting anything?
No, I'm just trying to review what happened to our explosive materials.
Actually, that's what I wanted to talk about.
Why? You know who's responsible? The consequences are going to be very severe.
No, I meant that I wanted to talk about the broader issue.
There is no broader issue. We'll be using the munitions instead, and we're still on schedule.
Okay, but that's the thing. Accidents happen. Sometimes certain plans wind up as duds. There's no such thing as a real schedule, Brock.
Is that what you think, that there's no such thing as a real schedule? Well, that would explain an awful lot coming from you, wouldn't it?
What, would it explain that I'm a realist?
Yes, really likely to fall off schedule.
Okay, you know what? You've been in charge long enough to answer this. About how many man-hours do you think it's going to take to get this work done?
You already know full well we've discussed we can make it by the end of the year at our current capacity.
That is not what I asked. I mean, how many man-hours? If there's an issue in a kitchen, can you add more chefs to make up for lost time? Absolutely not, because there's only so much kitchen space. Every other factor plays in. You can't solve all the problems by adding to them, so some schedule problems are permanent.
You know, Mason, I can see that if it were you in my situation, you'd give up the minute you found out the explosives were sour. You find yourself with a problem in the kitchen and think the answer is to get more chefs. I think the answer is to ask the community to pull out portable stoves, get the chemistry guys to bring out their Bunsen burners for a while. It won't be gourmet, but we'll see everyone gets a hot meal, you understand.
I understand you're lighting the kitchen on fire in the hopes that we can use the flame to cook enough food to feed the chefs that are still inside the building.
Well, as they say, if you don't like the heat, then get out of the kitchen.
Okay, I tried to be rational with you, but if you're going to pull out common sayings as just broad-level blankets to cover your butt, then I can see we're past the point of discussing this like adults.
Broad sayings become popular for a reason, Mason.
Because they're easy to remember.
And because they're truisms.
Oh yeah? Then what does it mean to say a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush?
Well, I don't know. That one has been lost to time, and I don't think anyone says it anymore.
Exactly, because it stopped being relevant. You should think for yourself, Brock. The kitchen is an asteroid. I can't get out. But you know what? Fine, have it your way.
Thank you, I am, and I will.
End of the world. This is the end of the world as we know it. Who knows if there's going to be a tomorrow? And you know what? I'm going to throw a party about it. A big end-of-the-world party with drinks and fresh meat and tons of girls, and you're not invited.
Do what you want. Just be ready for work the next day.
I will. And you, don't forget your matches, arsonist. I slammed the door.
Pee on his things!
Shut up, inner voice. Write a reply to Padre. Tell him his plan is acceptable, and I will make preparations immediately. Go down to the kitchen, order up some raw meat, throw it in my personal fridge, then unplug the fridge so the meat goes bad.
I just want to point out, intentionally giving yourself food poisoning is super dangerous and very dumb.
There's the inner voice that's worried about danger. And don't worry, I know it is. You inner voices are great, but I got my forebrain for this.
Do you? Because it seems like you're not using it. Also, don't stand too close to ledges, you might fall. I'm terrified of heights.
Noted. Thank you. And okay, I'm going to wait until the day before we're supposed to set off the explosive charges. Then I'm going to announce to the bands that I'm having a big end-of-the-world party, and all the bandmates are invited.
Woo! End-of-the-world party! Let's get naked!
Elvis has the right idea.
Yeah, let's get naked.
Lowry, you gotta keep your clothes on.
Oh, man.
Kinsey, the third band leader, says, I don't know, Mason. That doesn't seem like the kind of message we should be sending.
Oh, come on. It's just the band members only. And it's all for fun, and also for the nerves. I like to have a little bit more levity about this whole thing.
Well, I suppose one little toast to the end of the world is appropriate. But let's also raise a glass to the next one, can we?
All right, one glass for the end and one for a new beginning.
Speedo's coming off. I'll see everybody at the party.
Okay, maybe I can go technically dressed, but I'll just wear a thong.
No. Regular clothes, Larry. You wear regular clothes.
But Elvis is already running around with his butt cheeks out.
Yeah, he's a free spirit. What are you going to do?
Padre approaches you. My friend Mason, that is such a cool idea that my hair and I already had it, and we were already planning on throwing such a shindig for just our own band tonight.
Oh, come on. You're full of crap. I bet you don't even have any ribs. I got barbecue ribs.
Ribs do sound salivating. I will extend an olive branch. My own private party is so much cooler, and so much more exclusive. But I will visit your party as a show of camaraderie and partake in the ribs.
All right, fine. Just make a big entrance, all right?
You know I could do nothing else.
Hey, Mason, could I invite some ladies?
I didn't order that much meat, so I don't know we can do +1s.
Well, isn't your new girlfriend gonna feel left out if she didn't get to go to the party? Like, that's sort of a perk of dating a band member, you know? And all the Padres guys aren't gonna be there, so that's a few seats open.
Sure, but it's just going to be band members, so I wasn't going to invite Sasha.
That's cold, dude. She's gonna be upset.
Well, who are you going to invite?
I was planning to ask around to not make it weird, but being honest, probably Deb.
Well, she's right over there checking the equipment. Why don't you just invite Deb?
'Cause, man, I don't want her to think I zeroed in on her. I want her to feel like she's being chosen from among my hundreds of options.
That's stupid. Just invite Deb.
Well, just to be clear, we can't invite girls. That's okay, right?
Well, no, I can't say that because Elvis will invite so many people.
He's already naked and halfway there. He won't know you said it's okay.
All right, fine. Invite Deb. Just be careful and don't eat too much.
Is that a dig on me or on Deb? Jeez, I'll let her know it's a stingy party.
Yeah, look, I just leave some for everybody, okay? Paul, now I've got to go find Sasha.
Yep, she's clocking out of work from the demo lab. Oh, hey, Mason.
Hey, Sasha. I came by to let you know we're doing kind of a party type of thing. Sort of celebrating the end of the world.
Oh, I didn't know we were celebrating that.
It's kind of ironic. Yeah, and I'm mad at Brock.
Oh, so...
So Lowry's bringing a friend, a lady friend.
To your angry at Brock party where you celebrate the end of the world.
Yeah. Look, I'm not saying it's in good taste or anything. I just wanted to let you know I thought about you and wanted to let you know that you're invited. And Kinsey insisted that we put a positive spin on the whole thing, but I know you and I are both kind of concerned about the way things are. So it's funny, but also anxious, and I want you to feel included. So I'd like you to come.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think we agree with each other, like a personality kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I can go. I mean, maybe we can hang out a bit.
Okay, great. Heads up, though, the meat might be spoiled.
Oh.
Yeah, so don't eat the meat.
Well, you should definitely throw it out.
No, don't.
You should throw it out. I mean, you should throw out anything that you think is spoiled. What do you mean, no? If the meat's bad, you shouldn't keep it. Just buy new meat.
It's like a party's worth of ribs, and it was in my fridge, but I noticed that my fridge wasn't working after I announced the party, so maybe it's fine. Maybe it's fine. I mean, I'm just going to go cook it really well, and I don't want you to get sick, so...
Well, even if you kill all the bacteria, you know it still leaves behind the poison. You can't know how much enterotoxin is going to be in the meat. It could be really bad.
Yeah, I mean... But also, no. I mean, like, there's a voice in my head that's worried about that, but I'm ignoring it.
Well, that voice is smarter than it's going to be your funeral.
Are you a little angry at me? I feel like there's a little bit of...
No. I mean, a little. I feel like this all had more severity than deserves a party.
Yeah, okay, all right. I got kind of backed into a corner. And in spite of all that, I'm really glad that you're coming out to witness my last day before I die from food poisoning.
You can throw out the food! But anyway, you aren't going to change your mind, so you make your preparations, set out drinks, play some music, everyone has a good time. Kinsey makes a toast to the future of the asteroid. I know everyone's been nervous lately, and this is supposed to be a celebration of the end, but with each end we get a shot towards a new beginning. May it be a good one. Everybody cheers, they toast. Padre shows up and eats just a very small amount of the food before excusing himself with the explanation that he already ate at his own, much better party. By the next morning, everyone is vomit sick and running a fever, and 2 of the 3 bands cannot get out of bed. Most of you are in a terrible state and not fit to get out of bed all day. However, by mid-afternoon, it seems like a lot of people are trying to check in on you. Wide Wally, the head of engineering, drops by. Demo Dave, the guy in charge of the demo, asks when you'll be feeling better. Survey Sam checks in. It seems like a lot of important project leads suddenly got very interested in your health.
That'd probably be because of the assassination.
By the evening, you guys are feeling well enough to at least sit upright. And that's when your suspicion gets confirmed, Mason. Wide Wally comes back again, and seeing that you can actually answer the door, he tells you, Mason, there's been an accident. Brock didn't come back with the excavation team.
Why? What do you mean?
Well, since all y'all were sick, Brock decided to go in the mines himself. But as they were clearing out the last of the asteroid wall to place the chargers, they poked a hole into a lizard nest. The thing scurried out and jumped on the band. Apparently one big one jumped right on top of Brock.
So is the whole team still down there?
No, the others came back. They said that they lost Brock and his platform. They fought their way out and regrouped. The platform is secure now, but they couldn't find the body. My guess is it's likely a lizard dragged him off to make a meal out of him in peace from the others. Whoa. Brock is dead? I'm sorry to have to tell you this, Elvis. There's no body, but I don't think there's much point in hoping. Well, he could just be holed up in the mines. I'm feeling a little bit better. I bet Brock fought him off with a knife or something, and he's just waiting for rescue. Padre's team has swept the area twice without any success. Okay, sure, but 2 teams are better than 1. Who knows how far he'd have to run off? He could be anywhere.
Elvis, I don't think we're really in a state to run a mission. I can barely stand.
I've been sicker than Des. I'll go with Padre's team.
Wally, did Padre's team say they saw the lizard kill Brock?
They said it bit him. They don't know how bad, and the whole situation was a mess. I don't know. I'm starting to think this whole operation was cursed from the start.
But they don't know he's dead.
When did Brock go missing?
Around noon, before lunch. It's been hours now.
Well, how far would a lizard drag him? If he's not alive, they'd find the body by now. He must have made a run for it and he got lost.
All right, look. What about Kinsey's band? Do they have any luck? What's going on with them?
Must have been something you all ate because all of them are ill too. So's Big Deb. Sasha's fine. She said she didn't eat the ribs at your party, Mason, so I figure that might have done it. Padre is down with the same bug, though, so I don't know if that makes all the sense.
No, he came by for a little while.
Oh, well, all right, that does explain it then. Look, Elvis, I appreciate you wanting to help, but by my reckoning, Brock's a goner, and all we got left to find is the bones. The big question now is, what do we tell the colony? And what's the plan going forward?
Well, for now, here's what I suggest. Let everyone know there was an incident and Brock went missing. I'm sure everybody's already talking about it, so all we can do is get that out there. Let's spend at least 3 days trying to find the body. If we don't have any luck, we have to assume it's pretty likely he's done for anyway. We'll get the colony together and figure it out from there.
I suppose that'll have to do. I'll tell the others. Wally bustles off.
Oh, come on, Mason. How are you going to sleep knowing that Brock might still be alive out in the mines?
I'm not going to sleep, Elvis. I'm going to toss and turn and throw up.
Well, how are you going to throw up in peace? It's not just heartburn. That's your soul that's burning.
Within 3 days, everyone is feeling well enough to get around and make public appearances. Brock's body hasn't been found, but it's generally accepted that even if he's still in there, there's too much going on to spend the colony's work time with grieving and searching. All the bands are called together to speak to the colony in the central meeting hall. Padre offers to speak first.
I guess we were all too sick to pass notes ahead of this.
You never saw anything indicating that Padre wanted to communicate. He says, Ladies and gentlemen, I know a lot of you saw Brock as something of a father figure. He was stern and stubborn, and while that always has borne fruit in the past, I think some of us recognize our current predicament was one we simply couldn't power through. Brock insisted, however, and upon facing several rather serious setbacks, he demonstrated why brute force isn't enough to carry the day every time. We'll always remember Brock for what he did, and his leadership in the colony, and it is with great sadness that such a tremendous accident is how we have to say goodbye. But this isn't merely goodbye, it's also a new beginning. I'd like my band to join me up here, please. Padre's band comes up to the stage, holding their instruments.
You've been disrespected, disaffected, and rejected too. Now sit back and listen, and elucidate the plan for you. The current thinking line is a waste of time. We've got to leave that nonsense behind. Now is when we cast off the albatross. I am the
boss!
Oh my god! He's performing a musical coup!
I don't know why we weren't prepared for this, but I do not feel prepared for this.
Guys, we can't just let him take over like this. Grab your instruments, come on!
But Mason, what are we supposed to do? We can't just ad-lib an entire song.
Just follow my lead. Who made you elected? Opportunist hiding in sight. We should hold the power. We're virtuous, we take it by right. I declare that we are the rightful heirs, and also we don't talk to our hair. If the people want a stable cause, I am the boss! Wow, I cannot believe we made that up off the top of our heads.
Yeah, I say you guys are good role players. Nobody understands.
I barely understand.
The crowd is cheering, but Kinsey gets up on stage and pushes you guys aside. Listen to me, everyone. This is no time to enter a power struggle. I propose a triumvirate council, where each member of the bands can cast a vote towards our current way forward. Padre grabs the mic back. I disagree. These are stark times, and we need decisive, immediate leadership. We will take a vote now. Those in favor of a single leader, raise your hand.
I raise my hand.
And there it is. With both Mason and I seeing the same reality, Kinsey's plan is as doomed as this colony was under our previous trajectory. Kinsey grabs the mic again. Listen, we hadn't discussed this before now. We'll work it out and form everyone of the new leadership plan as soon as possible. For now, everyone just go back to your regular business. Everybody begins to disperse, with a lot of muttering and murmuring. Kinsey turns on you and Padre. Are you two insane?
No. What kind of question is that?
A man of leadership is a man of action. You've always been passive, Kinsey. If I were you, I would stand myself down. Kinsey gives Padre the evil eye. You need to take this seriously. If we waste all of our time with a political war, we won't have time to do anything else.
Why'd you ask if I was crazy? I feel like, given the circumstances...
What else have we to do but wait? Brock's insane plan to destroy this asteroid was never going to succeed.
I feel like I just want to establish that what I did, given the circumstances, seems pretty rational. And I don't like you calling my sanity into question.
My hair and I both find you to be perfectly within your right mind, Mason. Don't trouble yourself with the subjugated warbling of an unfit leader.
Thank you, Padre. And also, thank you, Padre's hair, which talks to you.
Kinsey points at you. The both of you are off it. You'd better pull it together, and I mean yesterday. And then she storms off.
You're being very deconstructive.
Mason, you and I should work together to prevent Kinsey from reviving Brock's doomed plans. I know it may be difficult to swallow, but I wish to be leader, and I will fight you for it. If you oppose me, I refuse to stand down.
Well, Padre, as much as I appreciate both you and your hair standing up in defense of my sanity, I think that what you're leading me to is a situation where I'm in charge, and I'm calling your bluff. Your situation looks bad. Your crew got Brock killed, if the people believe the face of it, and you take advice from your hair, and let's be real, I'm the more moderate position, so I'm going to get the swing support.
You're a funny man to think yourself the calculated success. You'll soon find that your calculus is incorrect. But may the best man and the best hair win. Padre signals to his band. They join him as he walks off stage.
Mason, are you really going to take over the colony?
It's not taking over. I'm already one of the band leaders. It's just a promotion that I have to fight for with other people who are also in line for the position, just like any other job.
Yeah, and also like any other job, it's lame.
It's not lame. You get prestige and respect and deference.
Yeah, and paperwork and lots of complaints from everybody.
You know, all those things you listed are synonyms, Mason. And for two, you only get those things if you do a good job. Otherwise, people draw cartoons of you, and then they draw your name on the cartoon so everyone knows it's you, and the cartoon will be doing something stupid that you talked about, but in like a really simplified, exaggerated way, so that everyone, like including kids on the internet, can understand it.
They're going to do that to me anyway. They already do that.
Yeah, but if you're the big boss, it'll be angrier. Have you seen the colony newspaper clips about Brock this year? The ones before he died, I mean. They weren't very funny, they were just mean. There was one with Brock sawing his leg off, and his leg was labeled Asteroid.
Oh, I know. Just say that they can't make those cartoons anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you could, but you probably shouldn't, because Laura Paintberger happens to be the artist that draws those, and I think I totally got a shot with her. That's all gonna go down the tubes if she gets fired.
Oh, okay. No, okay, well, you can make Mason pass a law saying that Laura Paintberger is married to you, and that all the women are married to you, and that would solve your lady problems. There you go.
I'm not going to do that.
Well, you got my hopes up and then you knocked them down. You've lost my vote.
But none of the women are going to be happy about being legally obligated to date you, Lowry. Elvis, quit helping me come up with my platform.
I didn't hear you coming up with any ideas. I mean, obviously you need the help. Why don't you just let Padre be in charge?
Because he's crazy. He killed Brock and talks to his hair. No matter what he says, there's no future where Padre doesn't make everything worse.
Well, then you could back Kinsey. Then it's like a vote of 2-3, and Padre would have to kill you and Kinsey to take over. And that'd look super suspicious.
Kinsey is just going to want to destroy the colony because that's what Brock wanted. Padre's insane and Kinsey is delusional. I'm the only practical option.
No, you're in a false dilemma. We could nominate Demo Dave. He seems nice, and I remember his name because it alliterates.
No, that's dumb. We could call me Mayor Mason. I'm the only practical option.
Well, Elvis might actually be onto something. If we throw in a neutral outsider, it might be more impartial, and I bet the colony would be more receptive to it.
No, Demo Dave can't even play an instrument. It makes no sense. It's gotta be me.
Okay, well, I'm out of ideas, mostly because I know you'll shoot the rest of mine down.
And yet I'm still sure of my ideas, and that's why I've got to be leader, because I have the spine to stick to my guns.
Fine, what's your platform gonna be?
Padre and Kinsey suck.
Solid, I get it.
Well, great, you've got Elvis's vote, but it'd be better if you did something besides scare people. Also, I don't think voting is a thing. Paul, is the colony a democracy?
No, it's more like a tradition-based autocracy. The next leader is usually nominated by the previous one, and in cases where the next leader isn't selected, in the past the colony's band leaders would agree to a new foreman without a major fight. It's been a functional system in the small, task-oriented life of the colony so far, but this is a moment of turmoil.
Right, so just antagonizing the other band leaders won't actually win you much.
Maybe we should tell Kinsey that Padre is dangerous and ask her to vote for us.
This actually sounds like it's going to be worse than having no platform at all, because it sounds like if you can't get Padre or Kinsey to agree with you, you're going to have to fight them. And aside from me and Elvis, I don't see much of an army behind you.
Well, you, Larry, have an in with the equipment manager who looks after the biggest weapons in the place. Deb fixes up the band platforms, and without her, the other bands are in trouble. And I happen to know the demo people who still have on hand our explosive munitions, because they didn't actually get used for the mining project.
You're assuming that Padre gave those munitions back.
Even if his band still has those bombs, he doesn't know how to turn them back into weapons without help from Demo Dave. So that's our first stop. Thanks, guys. I got my platform figured out. Vote for Mason, because he's holding all the cards and all the bombs, and he's already won. Paul, I go out to find Sasha.
Nobody's working after Brock's funeral because no one has taken charge, and the current phase requires one of the band members to blow up the back of the asteroid, so you find Sasha in her room.
Hey, Sasha, you got a minute?
Mason, did you kill Brock?
That is a heavy accusation to be thrown at me in broad daylight right outside of your doorstep.
She grabs you and pulls you inside. Did you kill Brock?
I was very busy that day throwing up and pooping myself.
Because of meat that you knew was bad, that everyone ate except for Brock's band, who are the only ones who can confirm how Brock died, and nobody can find the body.
I wouldn't give myself food poisoning to set up some kind of assassination. Do you know how crazy that would be? Who would do something like that? They'd have to be some kind of sociopathic maniac. Genius.
What?
I said they'd have to be a sociopathic maniac.
All right. It did sound a little crazy.
It's fine.
It's just, on Brock's funeral, you guys decided to announce you're competing to figure out who's in charge? Who would Brock want to be in charge?
Well, he'd be crazy to put Padre in charge, and Kinsey doesn't have enough charisma. If I can be honest, I figured I was the natural choice, and I couldn't let Brock have his way right there. I think he made that claim when he did because it would have been inappropriate to fight with him during a funeral. But lines had to be drawn.
Dang it. I can't believe things are going in this direction.
Well, it might be over pretty quick. I've been thinking about it, and if I can get support from some of the directors, maybe it'll be over before it starts. I was hoping maybe you could tell me if Demo Dave has ever expressed any kind of opinion about me.
I mean, no? Is that why you came to see me? Politics?
I also trust you.
It's not like he's never talked about you, but he thinks you don't have your team together. Meanwhile, Padre's a little off his rocker, but his guys are tight and always on task.
Oh man, he's judging me on Elvis and Lowry.
Well, they are your team, Mason.
Yeah, but can't he just see I'm cool and hands off and stuff? I mean, we get our work done too.
Sure, it's not your work he's critical of, though. It's all the other stuff. I don't think he'd want to see your bandmates elevated any higher than they are.
I mean, he knows they're not going to be put into administrative office too, right?
I think people largely see you all as a package deal.
All right. Okay, look, I appreciate the information. And also I wanted to say you were right about that meat. I should have just thrown it out.
Yeah, it was obvious you shoulda.
I know. Okay, but look, I gotta go talk to some other people about the direction the colony is going, so I gotta catch up with you later, okay?
So this was just a business call?
No, you're not just business. Come on, maybe we can take a walk in hydroponics later tonight, if you're free.
No, I think I'll be busy later tonight.
All right, Lever. Head down to maintenance and try to catch Deb.
Sure. It's off hours due to the funeral, but it seems like she's half-heartedly distracting herself with work regardless.
Hey, Deb, do you have a minute?
I suppose so, Mason. What's up?
Well, you probably saw that little spat we had on stage during Brock's funeral, and I was wondering if maybe I could get your support behind everything.
My support for what? To make yourself a fool during a solemn occasion?
Actually, to help de-escalate everything. See, the band platforms are weapons, and without your maintenance, they won't last for very long. So as the maintenance manager, if you vouch for one particular leader, I think that would solve things pretty quickly.
Right, of course.
I just want to point out, Padre caused that whole incident, and he's liable to cause a few more, especially if he's in charge.
And don't you think he's going to make trouble for me if I go against him? Besides, why do you want this, Mason? I always saw your group as the good boys. Not the ones who set the best example, mind, and not the ones who thought your job made you lord of the colony. Just the boys who did the work, then went home and had a beer, read a book, canoodled a girl.
Well, we are that. Kinsey wants to take the colony apart because that's what Brock wanted. Nobody knows what Padre wants because he takes advice from his own hair. I just want the colony to be a place that people can live.
I would rather have Kinsey, to be honest. She's steady. She's already not much fun. What you're trying to set yourself up for isn't about you and the boys. I know Elvis is dealing with enough just trying to govern his own self, and Lowry, bless his heart, he's just too sensitive.
Okay, forget them. What about me? What I'm hearing is that you think that Elvis and Lowry are a liability.
That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying they're sweet boys with their own personal struggles.
Padre talks to his own hair. That is a big personal struggle.
And I didn't say that Padre was the right fit either. That's why I said I side with Kinsey.
This is unbelievable.
And what's unbelievable about it, Mason?
That you would support literally tearing this colony apart instead of supporting a guy who would eat spoiled meat on the basis that it might still be good. You know, at least that kind of plan is grounded and relatable. Other guys would do that. If Kinsey runs the place, we're not going to have a colony or any spoiled meat. If I run the place, we're never going to throw out any meat. And that's a whole lot better than whatever Padre's plan is likely to be.
Well, all I'm going to say is...
His plan is probably to give everyone shampoo and conditioner. But who's going to pay for all the shampoo, huh? We get hair products from the singers. That seems like a really short-sighted plan.
Mason, all I'm trying to say is Kinsey would have not had an outburst like this.
That's because Kinsey doesn't think about anything. She has no imagination. She just does what she's told. I storm out and then go back to my room to pace around and grumble to myself.
Go by and bother Mason. Hey, Grumbly, I take it that everyone is supporting Padre?
What? No. Nobody is supporting Padre.
Really? Because I would totally support him over Kinsey. Kinsey is boring. Who knows what Padre's gonna do? He might even want to mine the whole colony down to nothing like Brock was gonna do. But he'd make it all crazy and controversial? That'd be fun.
Did you want me to talk to Deb?
No, I already talked to Deb.
Oh. I thought, because I was close to Deb, maybe you'd want me to talk to Deb?
No, because you know what she thinks? That you guys aren't leadership material. In fact, everybody thinks that. Deb said that we were just the beer and pretzels option that eats spoiled meat because we don't want to throw it away.
Well, that is an accurate summary of who we are and what we do. But I suppose it's as they say, familiarity breeds contempt, and everyone is absolutely familiar with our behavior.
They're familiar with your behavior. Nobody will take me seriously because I'm hooked in with you guys.
Well, Brock took you seriously.
You know what? I think we need to split ways for a while.
What do you mean?
I mean, nobody is going to take me seriously so long as I've got Wingus and Dingus on my left and right. Look at Padre. The only person anyone sees or talks about with his band is him. His guys are in line.
That's because he's crazier than the rest of his band, and they're probably scared of him.
Yeah, nobody talks about Kinsey because she never does anything.
But all anyone talks about with our group is you two.
I mean, not.
We need to
not
take a
this-
break for a little while. All right? I'm dissolving the band. Good luck, guys, but it's for the best and the good of the colony.
What do you mean you're dissolving the band? Mason, if you dissolve the band, there won't be a band!
The band is intended for heavy mineral mining. We aren't doing that now, and otherwise the platforms are weapons. But without support, the weapons are useless. We need maintenance, munitions, and everything else. If people won't help me because of you guys, Elvis, the band may as well not exist. It serves no purpose.
Mason, dissolving the band is going to look weak to most people. People develop expectations.
Well, Larry, I'm going to show them that I can be even more resolute on my own, and in time, I won't be the only one in my group because I'll have new people. But not groupies like people.
But where am I supposed to go? I've seen when my friends have to go couch surfing. It is not a glamorous life, Mason. People start asking for rent. I don't want to pay rent.
You already pay rent.
But with money that I made from the band, and I think that Lowry covers that.
Yeah, I've got a copy of Elvis's checkbooks.
Whatever. I'm sure you guys are going to make it work. We're not a unit anymore. That's the important thing here.
I'm pretty sure that we're relatively independent, and you never helped us make decisions before. So this is just a matter of income.
Don't you guys have any money saved up?
Well, I wasn't really saving up for the apocalypse if Mason decides to end the band because the world is ending. It's not really about money for me. I want you to know I feel betrayed, and if due to your poor choices you somehow get yourself between my crosshairs, I will not hesitate to kill you.
This could be an amicable thing that you walk away from,
No. Dead. You're dead to me.
Please, we're all saying things that we're really going to regret. I don't want to have to shoot you, Lowry, but I know that I will.
I'm not going to shoot at you, Elvis. You're probably fine.
We both know it's going to come to that. I don't want to shoot you, Lowry.
Well, could you guys just get out of my room and figure out who's going to shoot who? Lowry, you've announced your intent to kill, and Elvis, you just got to deal with this.
How am I supposed to deal?
Come on, Elvis. Clearly Mason doesn't want a good relationship with two highly trained weapons specialists, who women love, by the way.
All I want is Mason's love. Why is it that what you can't have is always what you most desire?
We leave.
And your friends go, Mason. But Lowry and Elvis, where do you guys go?
See you later, Elvis. I'm gonna go find Kinsey.
Oh my god, you can't just leave me. I burst into tears and then run to go find my drug friends.
In that case, let's start with Lowry. There's 2 dorm sections located on either end of the asteroid, and Kinsey lives in the one opposite from you. Right now, it looks like there's a small group of people gathered together. Deb's a part of that group. They're all sitting around a lounge table, and everyone stops talking when you approach.
Hello, everybody. Just thought I'd let you know, Mason dissolved our band, so I'm looking for a new group. I have a lot of experience and have mined a lot of rocks. So, better snatch me up quick because I don't want to work with the other one.
The group sort of parts so Kinsey can talk to you directly. Mason dissolved your band.
Yeah, he complained that we were holding him down and screwing up his political chances because we're, toxic to that, and, so I'd be really happy if I could get a job with, his political rivals. And after that, I've been thinking about what I want to do to Mason. Currently, I'm thinking we dip his butt in chocolate syrup and then push him down the hallways, like in a curling competition. See, I've got the unusual part of his cruel and unusual punishment figured out, but it's a work in progress. I need the cruel part. I mean, maybe we could put broken glass on the floor. I don't know, I'm open to ideas.
Deb says, "It's all right. Lowry works hard, and I'll vouch for him. In fact, if you don't take him, you'll have to get a new maintenance crew, because I'll take mine and I'll quit the job completely."
Thanks, Deb.
Kinsey sighs. "All right, it seems like you're in. Have a seat. We were just talking about Mason and Padre. If Mason was going to drop out of the fight for leadership anyway, why didn't he throw support behind me? Since he didn't make the choice, conflict's going to be inevitable."
Oh, he hasn't given up on leadership. He's just given up on me and Elvis. He thinks he's going to be able to win support a little better by himself. To be fair, I'm only popular with the female demographic, so I see why he'd want to broaden his appeal. But I feel like getting rid of Elvis is only going to drive away the younger audience.
And what's Elvis doing?
I don't know. He started crying, and that seemed like kind of a lot, so I'll ask him later.
Elvis, what are you doing?
And then he didn't even ask me why I was so sad. I know I was yelling about my feelings, but how is he supposed to know that there wasn't something deeper than the feelings that I was yelling about?
Man, that's crazy. Here, eat this. It'll make you feel better.
Why? What is it?
It's,
No, never mind. I'll take it.
Okay, Lowry, back to you. Kinsey says, well, it's a real shame he didn't do things the correct way, but I expect Padre is going to try and seize power unilaterally. And right now we're trying to discuss ways to prove he can't. Okay. What do you mean, like, prove he can't? Because he could. I don't suppose that you have any bright insights to the laws and traditions of passing power in the colony, do you? I know that they only work if everybody respects them, and that violence is diplomacy by other means. So if Padre is already prepared for violence, then you have to expect that that's going to happen. Obviously, we'd like to avoid violence. If we show ourselves getting armed and ready to fight, then a conflict is almost definitely inevitable. Wait, are you suggesting that you want to leave your pants around your ankles and not prepare for an armed conflict? In the hopes that Padre will stop taking advice from his hair, see reason, and not shoot you to death. A war leaves a lot to be desired. Even Padre knows that the collateral won't be worth the power he manages to secure, and if the fighting weakens him, he won't hold his power for long. But if you're not prepared to give him a real fight, he won't be weakened at all. I didn't realize I joined Team Stupid. No offense. How am I not supposed to take offense to that? I meant Deb. Deb, you're wonderful, and the smartest woman I know. Kinsey, on the other hand, you need to dig your people in. Coat their hands in glue, dip those hands in broken glass, and then threaten to scoot Padre across the floor after covering his butt in chocolate sauce. When he realizes you're willing to be unusual, and with some afterthought, maybe a little cruel, then that's the thing he's going to respect. I disagree. Padre's a reasonable man. Well, then I am mad at you. Elvis, you're high on something. There's no telling what. And one of the many people in the room who might possibly be real asks, so what do you think you're going to do now?
I am so mad at Mason. If I could go, I would get a bungee cord. I would attach Mason to it, and then I would put the other end on one of the band platforms, and I would drag him all the way back and forth across the mines, and then around the dorms, and all over the place, so everybody could see it happening, and they'd be all like, why is Elvis doing that? Someone needs to intervene. That can't be good for Mason. And then they'll stop me and they'll ask what's wrong with me, and I'll tell them it feels like whatever I've been eating, there is some kind of light coming out of my heart. Oh my God.
That's pretty heavy, dude. I feel like that sometimes.
That's okay. The mining platforms can carry heavier things than Mason. He's not too heavy.
You ought to join up with Padre. He's into stuff like that, I think.
What? No. He talks to his hair. That doesn't sound very reasonable. Besides, Lowry joined up with Kinsey. I gotta go do that.
No way, man. Kinsey would never let you join her band. She's all about rules and stuff.
Well, what rule says I can't join her band? God, I don't know any of the rules around here.
I mean the rule that says you're not supposed to get high or take drugs or, like, scoot people around the colony on their butts.
Are you real? Are you a real person? Is that a real rule?
I hope so. I've been living it.
Okay, good, because right now you look kind of like an elephant.
Dude.
No, never mind. Real or not, you know what you're talking about. All that sounds legit. It's like they say, an elephant never forgets. He never forgets who his enemies are.
Dude, what is an elephant?
Have you never read the picture books about Boobar, the king of the elephants? He has a gun. It's an elephant gun, because he's an elephant. They say he's so accurate with it, he can shoot the dust off a fly's wings. But they don't say how they measure how much dust was on the fly's wings. And then they never explain how the dust got there in the first place. Have you ever seen a fly hold still? I don't think that they gather dust.
Maybe it's a dead fly, and they pinned it to a corkboard or something.
Yeah. Maybe you're right. That doesn't sound as sporting, though. I mean, it's like I'd be way less impressed with Boobar at that point.
So you're gonna join up with Padre, or what?
I don't know. I feel like Boobar would advocate to take matters into your own trunks, which you wield with a terrifying elephant gun and you control with an ungodly accuracy. He was king of the elephants because the other elephants feared for their lives, man.
Dude, whatever you are high on right now, it is either not agreeing with you or agreeing with you way too well.
No. Okay, see, it all makes sense. I'm thinking about Boobar because these are Boobar times. Padre is gonna run this rock because he's Boobar. He's the elephant with the elephant gun, and he never forgets. And if he does forget, I guess his hair reminds him. I don't know why I didn't see that before. Maybe he's not so crazy. He's got a system. Maybe he's just crazy ordained by God to be leader like Boobar the elephant.
Yeah.
Boobar had this sidekick that he only shot 1 or 2 times, and mostly by accident. It was this little guy with a mustache and a hat. He had a monocle, and he was always surprised about everything. He's like, whoa, wow. I don't remember that guy's name, but look, that could be me. I'm often surprised by things.
You want to be that guy that you don't remember?
I think his name was Mr. Monocle. I think that...
Why did his parents make monocles? Is that his last name?
I think Boobar didn't know his real name and only called him that because he wore a monocle. Boobar was a big elephant and he had a lot on his mind. He had a lot to remember. He could never forget. Think of how much there is to think about.
Man, sounds like it.
That's it. I'm going to go talk to Padre.
Yeah.
Paul, where does Padre live?
On your side of the dorms, at the far end.
Well, I go straight there. I got stuff to tell him.
You knock on the door and Padre answers. He doesn't say hello. The rest of his band is in the living room. They're all silent.
Oh, Padre, I've had what you call a revelation. Mason fired me, and I realize now that I need a Boobar.
What is a Boobar?
The king! I need a job, man. I am job. I mean a band guy. I'm a drummer.
If you're looking for the position of drummer, we have a drummer.
Do you have a drummer at 2 places at once? Because I'll be the drummer in the other place where that guy's not. Heck, I'll be both drummers.
I see. Let me discuss it. Padre turns towards his band, but instead of talking to them, he grabs his hair and holds it to his ear. What do you think? I suppose it does display a certain level of cordiality. Yes, we can swing it. We can make it work. Very good. He turns back around. We are in agreement. Welcome aboard, Elvis. He motions you to come in. Nichols makes space for you on the couch.
Thanks. Hey, did you ever read Boobar the Elephant? I loved it growing up as a kid.
Yeah, Boobar. You've come at an opportune time, Elvis. We haven't a moment to lose in winning over the colony. The key is simple. Win the heart of the colony, and we have won the colony itself.
Yeah, Mason was talking about that. Big Deb is all about Kinsey, but Demo Dave, I think he likes you.
Ignorance! Nothing but mad ignorance. The heart of the colony is not the stewards of its upper echelons. It is the people, without which there is no colony. When the vast majority of the people and the so-called experts of the asteroid will have no one to be experts of, the leaders who cannot bend to this new system will easily be replaced by those who were once held beneath them.
Oh, cool. But I thought we didn't have a voting system.
Our system has been shaped by a single folly, the service of the silent singers who, now that we have reached the end of our usefulness, may yet sweep us aside. Elvis, these aren't words only you should hear. Come, we must go to the mess hall. I have waited too long to share with the people. He sweeps dramatically out of the room. The rest of the band gets up and wordlessly follows him.
Do we not do quips in this band? My old band used to do quips and stuff. I'm coming, don't leave me.
Before I do this, Mason, did you have anything that you wanted to do or try to secure?
I'll be honest, I was just going to try to form a coalition of experts again. Go ahead, Paul. I'm prepared to make myself look like an idiot, and I'm just going to have to take everyone down to my level.
Then in that case, Elvis, you follow Padre down to the mess hall. He grabs a bowl and a metal spoon, stands up on a table, and then clinks them together until the hall goes quiet. Everyone, I have an important announcement to make. There's been quite a lot of talk recently about the future leadership of Glam Rock. Well, I am here to tell you that said leadership has failed you. The rumors you have been hearing are true. The minerals that we've mined from this place for generations are finally exhausted, and we have absolutely no hope of meeting the tithe. Our leadership chose to put on a dangerous face and hope to dismantle the asteroid to force the singers to aid us at the end of the year, with no promise that such a deal was forthcoming. They kept the details of this plan a secret from the broad public because they feared its knowledge would cause a panic. And rightfully so! Their fears were rightfully placed, because you, given the chance, many of you would have objections. Murmurs break out across the mess hall. Well, I say it's time that we see the so-called experts for what they really are, and acknowledge that they are nothing more than men and women, like you and I. They cannot choose what is right for this colony. There is only one that has that knowledge, the endurance, and the drive to see a bright future for this colony, and it is the will of the colony itself. Yes, you, each of you, are the colony. You are this colony and all that it is, and it is long past due for us to stop pretending otherwise. No one wants to see our home turn out for the better more than the people living there. And so I submit to you, not a leadership beneath me, nor my hair, however wise and well-conditioned my hair may be, but one by the people, between the people, and for the people.
Yeah, communism!
No, not communism, there will be voting! The lunchroom goes up in cheers.
What exactly is communism again? It's a form of government, right? I think Boobar might have been a communist.
Oh, hey, Kinsey. He's proposing a vote. I guess I was wrong and he's not going to shoot us. Your plan to disarm and do nothing totally worked.
Kinsey stands up on the table.
If I were you, I would try to play the same angle and let everybody know
Everyone,
that...
I know that these are trying times, and we're all facing a lot of anxiety. I understand the appeal of a major shakeup, but now is not the time for radical change in government. We don't have time nor the resources to do this now, and as appealing as it is to bash on those in charge, Brock always had the best interest of Glam Rock in his mind, and his spirit is with us now. I'm certain that he's still guiding us towards the best. The leadership that Padre is attempting to tear down has successfully guided us since my father's father and his father before him. Many years of accumulated experience have been passed down between band members and the other project heads, without which this operation never would have had the success to reach where we are today. In a sense, this crisis of scarcity is a testament to our efficiency and to our leaders. None of us believed last year that we were going to make the tithe, but with a great deal of clever maneuvering, we made it happen. I ask you to trust me, and understand that if you give us the opportunity and your cooperation, then another success is right around the corner. And after it, I believe the singers will have no choice but to see the value of continuing cooperation with us. It's the only logical choice they can make. For all that's right and rational in the world, I believe that we can come together and do what's best for the colony. Though we may tear down many of the walls that make up this home, we will not tear down each other. There's applause again, but it feels more polite, as though coming from certain sensible members of the crowd that don't want to make too much fuss.
Okay, or I guess just defend the powers that be and stay on track. That's fine. Maybe that'll appeal to people.
I stand up on the table. I would just like to remind everyone that I am Mason, one of the coolest and most down-to-earth band members. You all probably know me, or know of me, and I want everyone to know that I am down to clown. With both the idea of democracy and the sort of benevolent elitism that we've grown accustomed to. So unlike Padre, who's a communist and probably wants horrible icky things like affordable medicine, I propose that we meet in the middle and establish a kind of like representative democracy, where instead of one person, one vote, we have like a project leaders will cast the votes on behalf of everyone, like representatively. I mean, I'm just making this up as I go, but let's say we have like a Congress group and they'll make laws, but they'll be elected by a fairly rough popular vote, like not directly proportional to the population, but there'll be a system that makes it close enough. And then we'll have a second government chamber called the Senate, which will be composed of only a few project leads who can veto whatever Congress wants to do if enough of them agree. But don't worry, though, you'll get to vote for them too. It's just that they'll have a lot more concentrated power for reasons. So that's the system that we ought to do. And also, I'll be president of that system, which means I won't make any laws. I'll just sign off on them and then take blame for them. And do like our diplomatic stuff with the singers, which in a lot of ways, people will think I'm in charge, but I really won't be.
You get a few scattered claps from people who don't know what you're talking about.
I read about this system in a book. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's flawed, but like I don't see Padre outlining the technical aspects of his plan for the colony, so somebody has to be thinking about the details. And a new government isn't just going to materialize out of thin air, everybody. Padre may sound exciting, but excitement can only carry you so far. I have read a lot of books about this subject, and I'm prepared to form committees. You think Padre's going to want to do that? No! Committees suck. He's going to get frustrated and do something else. But that's what a government of the people is, though. It's committees of people.
Kinsey says, what Mason is illustrating perfectly is the necessity of expertise. We can't just make a new government within the year and still meet our obligation to the singers, let alone to one another. Padre stomps on the floor. Then we abandon those obligations to the singers. If they come at our detriment, then there's nothing friendly about our relationship to the singers. If they care for us so much, why leave us in an empty mine? Something has to give. Nancy comes out waving a ladle. What has to happen is the two of you have to get down off my tables. You'll be up there all night yelling at each other. If you want to address the people, call a colony meeting like you're supposed to. Everybody here's on a schedule and the food is getting cold. I appreciate the dramatics, but some traditions are worth respecting, and the one where I'm in charge of the cafeteria is one. Get down! Kinsey climbs down immediately. Padre lingers for a second. Very well. But I do so in the confidence of knowing that whatever happens, those of you in this room have been here. You'll be here tomorrow, and with any luck, you'll be in a place of your choosing next year. Though I leave now, the people will be where they always have been, working together, toiling honestly, for their future together. And then Padre gets down. Well, guys, the lines have been drawn. Kinsey is in favor of a previously working status quo, while Padre is using populist rhetoric to gain support. But I shouldn't have to remind you, he's also the one who killed Brock.
A people's hero is a complicated man, Paul. Technically, Brock wasn't a people. He was above the people, which is still a person, but harder to read because his name always appears above the rest of the text about the people, and you don't exactly know when or how to read it.
I'm sure there's a metaphor in there somewhere, Elvis.
He's a title.
Elvis, most people know how to read a title.
My metaphor is evolving, Lowry. If the people are a book, its leaders are the title of the book. You can change the title, and it affects the marketing, but the people are the important part.
There it is.
Got it.
So what's next on everyone's agenda?
Do we have printers or copy machines?
I'm gonna say yes, but also that they're expensive because printer ink is provided by the singers, and it usually gets used for official documents.
I'm official, right? I'm technically part of the triumvirate that neither I nor Padre is recognizing.
Well, if you go to the office where they keep the only printer, the girl in charge is like a 20-something intern, and she says, yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah, right. See, I'm about as in charge as anybody around here, until someone says otherwise. I'm one of the bosses. I want the printer.
Okay. What are you gonna print?
Okay, I should hire an artist for this, but I want my message out quick. I'm going to draw a stick figure of Padre, and I'm going to label it Padre. Then I'm going to put a caption at the top that says, "We all know Padre talks to his hair, but which hair does he talk to?" Then at the bottom, I'm going to write, "butt hairs."
Speaks for itself. The girl leans over your shoulder. Are you going to make copies of that?
Yes, obviously.
Okay.
Why? What's wrong with it?
It's nothing. It's fine.
No. Look at this and tell me what's wrong with this. Ink is expensive.
I don't think it's important.
Ink is expensive. Don't make me buy all this ink if it's not a good poster. Can you imagine?
It's just not very...
How wasteful this would be?
It's just not a very persuasive argument.
It's not a persuasive argument. Well, what is a persuasive argument, Tiffany?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Maybe say, if Padre wants us all to be in charge, why doesn't he let us vote on whether or not we should be a democracy?
Well, that's dumb. If we don't want to be a democracy, why would we have a democratic vote? You think that's better than butt hairs?
I don't know. I'm just making it up on the spot.
Well, your idea is good, and I'm sorry I doubted you. But I would like to work butt hairs in there somewhere. I feel like that'll help sell the message.
I don't see how butt hairs help sell your message.
Because it's funny, and people will feel good about sharing it because it'll make their friends laugh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, maybe try and work butt hairs into a joke?
You can't just make jokes up, Tiffany.
What does that mean?
You have to feel a joke. I've got a good feeling about butt hairs. I know they work in this somehow, I just haven't tied it to the main message.
Right, but the tying in, that's the joke, right?
Let the people vote, butt hairs. No, wait, butt hairs.
I don't get it.
Well, it's a non sequitur, see, which I guess a lot of people wouldn't get. You kind of have to know you're being set up for a non sequitur, and if you don't recognize that, well, you're not going to get it. But also there's colon, which is a play on words. See, because there's a colon in your butt.
Okay, so you want to make the message say, let the people vote, butt hairs, and then you're going to copy a bunch of those and put them up around the colony.
You make it sound like I'm doing something wrong.
Well, you've completely lost my message, and now it sounds like you're supporting Padre's plan, but also you want to vote for butt hairs.
You're not helping, Tiffany. You're just nitpicking.
I don't understand what you're trying to do.
I am trying to save our lives, Tiffany. I would think that you could get behind that.
How do butt hairs save our lives?
Because they're funny. It carries the message.
What's funny about it? I think you're just saying it's non sequitur because you're afraid to throw away ideas. I don't get it. It isn't funny.
It's funny because it's not expected. That's what non sequitur humor is.
Okay. How about this? Right? Padre's hair says you should get to vote, but his butt hair won't let you vote a second time. And then draw his butt holding a knife or something.
Okay, I like that, see? You see what happens when you work with me, Tiffany? That was like prying up fingernails, just trying to get you to cooperate.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Okay, I'm going to print off a few dozen of these things and hang them all over. You want to take half and help me out?
No.
God, it is like prying off fingernails. Paul, I take my posters and I get to work putting them where people will see them.
All right, you get to work. Lowry and Elvis, what do you guys do?
Oh, hey, putting up posters, huh?
Who, me? What's it to you, Lowry?
Well, I just can't help but notice it's a stick figure, and there's no color.
Why is everybody so critical? If you think you can improve it, then explain how it can be improved. Be constructive, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't remember being told how I could improve before being kicked out of my own band.
Are you still mad about that?
Yes, I'm still mad about that. You did it to advance your political career, and now look at you. I wasn't going to say anything too snarky in case you did better than us. Then I'd look stupid, but look at these posters. You're obviously going to fail. And you know what? You deserve it.
Well, I'm not the one who came up with the slogan. Tiffany did. My version was funnier, but she just wouldn't budge on the printing until she got her way.
Oh, you got in a creative argument with Tiffany? We could have done that. We used to do that all the time.
Tiffany was a refreshing change from the usual, thank you very much. She was a lot less snarky about it.
Yeah, just a shame she doesn't know color or how to draw.
Do you have any idea how expensive colored ink is? Black and white means I can afford to put up more posters, and this is a volumes game. It's better.
Why would you vote twice? Why is his butt stopping you from voting twice? The entire point of an election is that you vote once.
I don't know. Ask Tiffany. Oh, I think she means actually that he won't let you vote a second time after Padre wins the first vote.
But then the election is over.
No, I mean, there won't be a second election, like he'll just be a dictator.
Oh, well, then that's what the caption should say. As it is, it looks like his butt is in charge of election security. He's doing a really good job.
I don't think people are going to read it that way.
It's a way you can read it. And even if only 10% of people read it that way, you've wasted 10% of your message.
Laurie, could you just... You know what? Why aren't you with Kinsey? Don't think I didn't see you over there during her speech in the mess hall.
I don't even like Kinsey.
Then why'd you join up with her?
Because you're doing your own thing. Your own butt hair thing. And Padre's insane.
Yeah, no kidding he is. Direct democracy would be a mess.
Why's that?
Because not everybody votes. Only a certain number of motivated people vote seriously, and the message can be controlled by whoever can sway the masses.
But how is a greater generality of the people any less flawed or stupid than you, or Padre, or Kinsey, huh? We are the leadership of this colony, and look at us. Let's not pretend that society's betters don't become drunks and philanderers.
Aren't you with Kinsey? She's the one who said to trust the higher-ups.
Kinsey?
What?
Kinsey likes to put on an official's face, but deep down she's frightened of change and of losing control. She likes structure and doesn't want the structure to change because she feels like she's mastered what the structure is. She's weak, is what I'm saying, and childish, if not a little dependent.
Then why are you helping her?
I didn't say I'm motivated. She's my only option unless I want to try to take over independently like you're doing, and you being divorced from the power structure of the bands obviously isn't getting you anywhere.
Whatever. People are going to come around to my point of view once they see these posters.
How does Padre's butt holding a knife convince people to establish a Senate Republic?
By shutting up, Lowry. Let me be in charge and Knife Butt will lead us to a better future.
Padre's the one with knife butt. You're advocating against knife
I said
butt.
the first step was for you to shut up.
Fine, but this is your reminder. If during the fighting I have to shoot you, I'm totally gonna. And I'm gonna kinda like it a little bit.
Well, you better not miss, or I'll draw a picture of your butt holding a knife and I'll show it to the entire colony.
All right, and Elvis, what are you doing?
Hey, Mason. Cool knife butt.
Shut up, Elvis!
Okay. I go cry in my room.
Well, Mason, you're at this for a while, and eventually the inevitable happens. Padre finds you. He and his entire gang walk up behind you.
See, there he is. I told you. He said you have knife butt. He told me to shut up about knife butt.
Elvis, did you rat me out to Padre?
You yelled at me and also said I wasn't good enough for our band, but look, I got a new band.
What exactly is the meaning of this, Mason? Is this me? Why is my butt holding a knife? It just says you won't vote twice. You're only supposed to vote once, Mason. Those are the voting rules.
Obviously. I wanted to imply that you were going to defend the rules of the vote. I told Tiffany, wasn't this going to mix messages if his butt was holding a knife? But she said I was getting away from her message and that this would be less non sequitur.
I hate to see what your more non-sequitur option looked like.
Look, Padre, we both know how things went down with Brock, and I know that if you stage a vote, you're not going to leave it to chance that you win what you want.
Mason, ever since your party made everyone sick, where it is you've been spiraling. Your mental health is in decline. You disassembled your band and have been making a fool of yourself on the public stage. Perhaps you should see a doctor and get some rest. One wouldn't want you to go mad and throw yourself out the airlock.
Look, I want in on whatever it is you plan to do. I want in.
Really? It doesn't look like you want in. But let's ask your former co-worker. Elvis, do you think that we should trust Mason?
Well, he did make me really upset. But over our long work history, I would have to say that Mason's been generally pretty reliable. I think just with all the changes and everything, he's been under a lot of pressure. You know, he's trying to live up to his station, and he's not handling it as well as he could. I feel like he's not meeting his potential. Maybe if he was working under someone who had a firm idea of what they wanted, he could probably get it together and he'd be okay.
Not the answer I was expecting from you.
I can't be too mad at Mason. I am a lot to handle, and he patiently dealt with many hangovers, and I have to appreciate that.
Thank you, Elvis. That's very noble.
Yeah, you could learn from me, you dillweed.
What exactly do you think you have to contribute, Mason? Until your stunt where you declared yourself a runner for the colony's leadership, I respected you as an equal.
Well, considering you felt you should lead, if I'm your equal, then I was also fit to lead.
A fair argument.
Yeah, Mason, but you have way fumbled this leadership thing so far, dude.
Kinsey's not going to let you hold a vote.
I am well aware.
So let me pose this. Instead of throwing me out the airlock, what if instead you use the classic pincer maneuver and let me take care of Kinsey? After that, you can arrest me and be the hero.
Padre looks back at the gang, thoughtfully. He then grabs his hair and holds it to his ear. Yes, you think so. What exactly do you get out of this, Mason?
For one, I'm not murdered, right? That's my first condition.
A bit fruitless to set that condition in an environment where you feel you have to, don't you think?
Okay, two, you keep me under house arrest on the basis of mitigating circumstances and me acting on my presumed authority as a band leader.
I suppose you would request a comfortable house arrest.
That's the idea, yeah?
Seems rather cynical to volunteer for something like this, if not downright sniveling.
Writing's on the wall, man. I'm running out of ways to be relevant.
Odd. I don't like it. You're welcome to whatever efforts you like. I won't endorse your suicide mission one way or the other. Padre skulks off, his posse in tow.
See you later, Mason!
Yeah, see ya, Elvis. Okay, Paul, I go to find Sasha. I'm gonna need bombs.
Sasha is not at home. People are working, but not with full conviction. Demo Dave tells you she took the day off. After a while of searching, you find her sitting out in front of one of the windows, looking at the emptiness of space, chewing on her shirt.
Hey, Sasha.
Oh, hi, Mason.
You seem a little preoccupied. You doing okay?
With what?
With, chewing your shirt and having an existential crisis?
Oh. She takes her shirt out of her mouth. It's a nervous habit. It just feels like everything's getting out of control.
Yeah, kinda. I think fake it till you make it is really in play right now.
I always thought the colony's leadership was operating on some kind of informed knowledge that maybe the rest of us didn't have. But look at you.
Okay, I'm gonna take some offense to that. But no, it's not like the people in charge are omniscient or especially smart or anything. Personally, I like to think that I'm smarter than the other options.
That's exactly what Kinsey thinks.
Why do you name Kinsey specifically? I mean, she has issues, but Padre almost definitely killed Brock, and he threatened to kill me like a half hour ago. He's not exactly our best or brightest either.
Well, if I have to choose between a bunch of obviously flawed people who are only looking out for themselves, at least Padre is speaking to me.
He's lying. He's lying to you.
But in a way that makes it seem like he cares if I believe it. That stuff he's talking about, it makes a lot of sense. We didn't need a secret little group trying to stop Brock's plan. If everyone in the colony had a say, then better or worse, we'd be working in that direction, and that'd be the end of it.
Well, what about what I said?
All that stuff about a Senate and a representation? I don't even know what you were on about. Did you go crazy?
No, I meant about all the systemic stuff. Padre can advocate to everybody, but when push comes to shove, he'd have to be willing to set up a system that minimizes his power and lets the democracy of the colony do the majority of the thinking. Have you ever seen him with his band? Padre is the only one who talks, and his people just follow him around like robots, except Elvis, who's pretty hard to train and probably doesn't even know where he is.
So all that stuff about the Senate, you think that does Like what?
I don't know. I was on the spot and I felt compelled to make my own speech. I was just pulling from a book I read. The point I'm trying to make is that Padre talks about the people, but he hasn't made any commitments to empowering anyone but himself so far.
Well, what are we supposed to believe? We can't have Kinsey's way. The system we've had all these years is clearly not working, and maybe I don't know how it's broken or how long it's been broken, but somewhere along the way it got broke. And maybe Padre isn't on the up and up, but he's at least offering an alternative to that broken system. It's not comforting that the offer comes from him, but he's presented the monopoly on change. I have to pray that the old system fixes itself if we do nothing and just wait, or I can support Padre and hope that he's not as insane and as stupid as he seems, knowing that there's something deeply wrong with either choice. And then there's you with some completely nuts, convoluted theory that you think sounds smarter than it is.
Okay, look at me. Can you get me some bombs?
What?
Can you get me some bombs? I need explosives.
What are you on about?
Padre threatened to throw me out the airlock unless I do something about Kinsey. I have an idea, but I need fireworks, okay?
You have absolutely flipped your lid.
No, it's all gonna work. I just need explosives. Like, maybe enough to destroy a single bedroom. And then Padre will arrest me.
Padre's putting you up to this?
He threatened to throw me out the airlock.
And that makes this okay. Where is your spine?
It turned to jelly. When he threatened to throw me out the airlock. I want to live, Sasha.
Well, let him throw me out the airlock. I don't care. If this colony doesn't figure itself out, we're all dead anyway. Sasha gets up and she storms off.
Sasha, come on. It also takes some spine to blow someone up with a bomb. Actually, maybe the one I should be killing is Padre. Hang on. Oh, Sasha! Sasha, I got it all figured out. Okay, listen.
Mason, I do not want to be a part of this.
But listen to me. You believe in the ideals that Padre is selling, right? But it's hard to believe in Padre himself.
I don't believe in anything enough to help you resort to blowing up the colony.
Okay, but if Padre died while his ideas were at the peak of his popularity, while they were popular for a good reason, what if someone less cynical, who knew what those ideas actually meant to you, picked them up and carried them to make the colony better?
I don't want to kill people.
Listen, we'd set up a democratic voting system. I know a few ways. We could do votes where you rank who your favorite leaders would be, and whoever gets the highest average ranking would win the election. See, so if you like Padre the most, you'd rate him number 1, then Kinsey number 2, and me number 3, apparently. And in the end, we'd average out the vote, and the highest score wins. We could do it with major policy proposals, too. Create a couple of different plans proposed by different representatives, then let people rank them and enact whatever gets the highest score.
Well, that all sounds better than your whatever Senate plan. Could you maybe propose that without killing Padre?
Well, the thing is, he's threatening to kill me, so...
Okay, well, look. Let's propose this idea to everyone. Say you gave it some real thought, and you like Padre's plan, but you only want to go forward if you know exactly how the people are going to be supported and represented. And then we can see who really likes it. If Padre endorses it, well, then maybe we lucked out. And if not, that shows his true colors. And if people like your idea, maybe they'll be willing to watch your back, so you'll be safe.
The bomb sounds so much faster.
Mason!
Okay, all right, we'll do it your way. Everyone's all dressed up in makeup, they've got no pants on. Now it's time to have a serious talk about democracy.
Paul, do we even have time? It's getting really late.
Larry, are you telling me that you don't have time to draft up a constitution and establish a new government for a fictional asteroid colony?
Yes. As much as I want to hash out a bunch of political compromise in imagination land, I'm not actually willing to lose sleep over it in real life.
That's okay. Mason, just have Sasha do the hard stuff. Sounds like she's taking charge anyway.
Yes, the NPCs will go in a special closet somewhere while we enjoy a time skip. But first, I guess we have to get to that, Elvis.
So what's your approach, Mason?
Last time when we interrupted dinner, Nancy got mad. So let's go to the intercom and tell everyone that we're having a meeting in the main hall after dinner.
Okay, you go to the comms room, and there's just a thin, sort of balding guy sitting there looking at one of the flashing lights on the panel. He looks nervous. You come in, and he looks up at you, slowly, and he says, "The calls just keep getting closer and closer."
What calls? Oh, right! The ones from outer space.
Yeah, those.
That's probably important.
We're not supposed to answer, right?
Yeah, in theory they'll shoot a nuke at us. So don't do that. Which one of these buttons turns on the colony PA system? I need to make an announcement.
He hands you a microphone and flips a switch.
Thanks. Attention, colony! We have an emergency announcement to make. Please assemble in the meeting hall after dinner. Then I hang up. Keep watching that light flash, dude. If it, I don't know, flashes another color, tell me.
It only flashes one color.
That's why I'd be concerned. All right, Sasha, we gotta get to the printer, pronto.
All right, late on. You guys go down to the printer. Tiffany's eyes widen and she panics when you walk through the door.
Tiffany, I need your help.
I'm not helping you come up with any more campaign posters.
Well, you're fired from that. I got a lot of outside criticism. Sasha and I make a much better creative team. Speaking of, Sasha, we need to make ballots. I'm going to make the first one. It just asks, should the colony leadership be determined by a voting system? After that, it says, if we were to have a voting system, please rank how long you think this leader should lead, with 1 being the highest score for whatever you want. Put down, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Then who should lead? Kinsey, Padre, Mason, or none of the above?
How many of these do you want?
At least as many as we have people in the colony, probably more.
That's gonna be a lot of ink.
I don't know what else to spend my money on that matters, Tiffany. Come on, we're in a rush.
Tiffany gets printing. All right, Mason, what do you need me to do?
Okay, please get these ballots organized so you can pass them out really quick. I need to go and find some math nerds to help us do some counting and calculating. I'll be back for help to gather all these up. And Paul, I go down to see Deb.
Deb is hanging around in maintenance. It looks like she's polishing a platform axle, but if anything out of anxiety more than necessity.
Hey, Deb. Could I get you for a minute?
Mason, I've dug in my heels. I'm back in Kinsey. Nothing you can say is going to change my mind.
Great. Then I need your help to put Kinsey in charge and get the colony back in order. I'm going to hold a vote over whether or not we should vote. If everyone says yes, then we're also going to vote for who's in charge. If everyone says no, then we can go right back to gridlock. But I need help to count the votes and figure out what won, and I was thinking your crew is about taking inventory and making sure that numbers line up. If I could ask you to count the ballots, it would mean a lot to me.
Have you discussed this with Kinsey?
Well, Deb, that's the thing about a vote. In this case, I pretty much don't have to. It's taking everyone's opinion of the situation and finding a consensus. Look, your opinion matters, right? So if you cast a vote, then your opinion goes into one of these slips of paper, and every vote that you count is validating one person's opinion. I just want you to help me give everyone a little bit of worth in our system. Can you help me do that?
All right, I suppose. But if you try to pull a fast one or make a fool out of everybody...
The ballot questions are right here on the ballot. See? Whatever you choose, that's what it is. No fools.
And what if Kinsey or Padre refuse to accept the vote?
Then we know they don't care what anyone thinks. I can't promise the system is foolproof, but at the core of it, it's as simple as that. Can you help me, please?
Okay, I already said I would. I'll get my crew together.
Thank you, Deb. I just hope you know it's not for me, it's for the whole colony. I know you and your people will get it right. Oh, could I also ask you to help me carry all the ballots to the meeting hall?
Fine. Deb assembles her team and they go to the printer, where they can help gather up the ballots.
Okay, go down to the meeting hall and start getting everything set up to do a vote. Okay, Deb, your people are going to sit here. They're going to hand you the ballot, okay? Make sure it's only one. Take it and put it in a box with all the others. There won't be names on them because we don't want anyone thinking that they're going to get in trouble for a bad vote. That's why you need to make sure it's just one person, one vote. Very important. Okay, got it? We'll tally it all up at the end.
It's short notice and a little frantic, but you think you have everything in order by the time the hour draws near.
Did Padre or Kinsey not come to check what I'm doing?
On that thought, Sasha says, well, you've been acting downright stupid all this time. They're probably not expecting you to do something they have to worry about by this point.
Thank you, Sasha. It's all part of my brilliant strategy to act stupid until the right moment.
I bet it was. Everyone shuffles in at the specified time, looking not terribly happy about being called to a meeting. Doesn't look like the entire colony arrived, but it is most of them.
All right, hop up on stage. Everyone, I'd like to thank you for coming. I've noticed, as well as you, that the station has been suffering from a state of turmoil. And if things keep going like they have been, it's only going to get worse. So I've brought everyone together to go ahead and solve everything before it gets any more out of hand. You can see on the tables over there a bunch of pieces of paper and some pens. I've spent my own good money on that stuff, but it's worth it. Because you know what it is? It's a voting ballot.
The hall breaks into murmurs.
I've given it a lot of thought, and Padre's right about one thing for sure. Without its people, there is no colony. So it should be up to all of you whether we change our ways in the first place. Normally we'd hash this out between the band leaders, but today, we stand divided in that regard. Some of you know who you want to lead, and some of you aren't sure. But what's on that ballot are several important questions. The first, whether you'd like to have a say in your government. It's all right if you don't vote for that one, because if you all agree that we don't need a change, we'll throw all the ballots out, and then I will personally choose a leader for this colony, besides myself, and end this standoff by following the usual traditions. But if you'd like to choose the leaders yourselves, mark who you'd like to be in charge, and for how long.
People start hesitantly picking up the ballots and looking them over.
We're not going to collect the ballots right away, so if you know anyone who isn't in here right now, run and grab them. When we're all ready, we're going to hand your votes to Deb. One person, one vote, and then you leave the room. Once we start accepting votes, you can only go out. You cannot come in. We need to make sure that everyone gets counted just one time.
A few people dash out of the room. Kinsey walks up to the stage as people start picking up the ballots. There's a lot of talk and excitement.
Mason, don't you think that by holding a public vote, you're violating the rules in the first place? This is siding with Padre.
Now, Kinsey, I don't think that there's any laws in our long traditions that say how I have to base my support for a leader. If I make my decision based on a colony-wide vote, then that's no less legitimate than if I chose it myself.
You know exactly what you're doing. It's only following tradition on the slimmest technicality.
Well, if you want to stop me from doing things my way, then I choose Padre.
Don't do this.
Let me hold the vote, or I'm going to choose Padre. That's the deal.
This is the darkest hour of our colony.
Oh, that does remind me. Everybody, listen up. You may notice my name is also on the ballot. I just want to clarify that. If most of you vote for Padre or Kinsey, I'll respect you, and I'll officially support whoever you chose. But if you choose me, I'd like you to think of that as a vote for yourself. Because the fact is, I see a lot of potential in this way of doing things. See, I started to get a little out of my bounds in my pursuit of the colony's leadership and had some pretty weak ideas. I walked away from Lowry and Elvis, and since then, Lowry's been threatening to kill me. You should probably stop doing that.
Never.
But Elvis actually vouched for me after the fact, even though maybe I didn't deserve it. And you know what? Even if I pass away this very night, possibly because Lowry killed me, those guys will still be around, and so will all the rest of you. Each of our individual lives are like so many twinkling little stars, but our society, our nation, our people, that is something that endures beyond all of us. It goes past me, it goes past Brock and Kinsey and Padre, and it comes down to you, to your children and their kids thereafter, because after us, it'll be them who makes up the colony, which we built for them. When you guys are making choices on those ballots, it's not a question of what I can do for you. I am asking you to do what you can for this colony, and if it comes to pass that your grievances aren't being heard and your needs are not being met, then it is up to you. Up to you to organize and speak up and say, this is what I want. This is what I need. I am the colony and I will be heard. You are the colony. Because I am just one single flawed man, Mason. All of us are but simple individual people. Your thoughts, your hearts, are all equally valid to mine. But all of them united together outweigh any individual. So vote for what you feel you should. I'm telling you tonight, I promise, as one of the band leaders vested with the authority to choose, I will choose with you. And if you choose me today, I will choose again with you tomorrow. That's all.
The crowd applauds. Seems like that was the right kind of thing to say. There's a good round of approval. But then Padre hops up on stage. Wise words from my friend, Mason. However, I would like to remind everyone that as noble as it may sound, truly the only way to bring an end to this conflict is to vote for either myself or Kinsey. As Mason's executive decision is required to end the stalemate officially in our current system, I represent all that Mason does and more, and will echo his sentiments to the fullest extent of my ability. I wish I could say the same about Kinsey, who appears to be in the corner there, sulking as the rest of us take our much-needed victory. I could never be more proud of this colony than I am now, and I look forward to a new dawn together.
Thanks, Padre. Let's give him a hand. But as he gets down and everyone starts filling out your ballots, I just want to point out that if Padre isn't willing to break the stalemate himself by siding with the vote, then he was never taking any of this voting stuff seriously in the first place, and we can view it all as just a ruse for power. Thank you, Padre.
Everyone starts filling out papers. As you look down at Padre, he's staring daggers at you. His face is turning beet red, and you can see the veins standing out on his forehead. He's viciously twirling his hair between his fingers.
Yeah, suck it, wacko. Oh, shoot, Sasha!
That was amazing, Mason. That was a great speech, especially after all the stuff you've done. This is great.
Great, thanks. But hey, you remember how we said we were going to get some people to stop Padre from throwing me out the airlock? Well, I got really excited about everything, and I think we may have forgotten that part.
Oh, that's bad. She looks over at Padre, who still appears to be boiling over. Yeah. I tell you what, I'm going to go find some of the demo crew, and I'm going to talk to Deb about it, and maybe we'll keep a few people near you for a while.
Thank you. Sasha, this would not have been possible without you.
Well, I hope you win, if only because I'm right there by you.
Yeah, me too, I guess. Oh, hey, Lowry! So...
Yeah, those other rubes are gonna forget how stupid you are and forgive you because you made a speech, and people's memory are short. But Lowry never forgives. I'm still gonna kill you one day, Mason.
Well, whatever. I forgive you, Lowry.
For what? You absolute piece of trash. I didn't do anything to you. You're the one who did everything.
I forgive you for threatening to kill me? Okay? That's very serious, especially right now. People really thought that we were going to start shooting at each other, and you might have really killed me.
Oh, yeah. I guess that is true.
I'm not going to ask for an apology, because then I'd also have to apologize, and we're both men here, so...
Right, yeah, right. I will never.
Yeah.
But looks like it's under control, so we can all laugh about it now. Remember that time I said I was going to kill you? That's still going to be really funny when I eventually kill you.
Yeah, okay, great. Glad we fixed the broken whatever. See you around, Lowry. Elvis! Hey.
I'm still filling it out. It's a really tough question. I'm still working on it.
Okay, that's fine. Take your time, buddy. I just want to say, thanks for sticking up for me in front of Padre back there. You're a good guy.
Well, thanks. A lot of my friends are addicts, so I get how it is to be frustrated sometimes.
Well, still, I was thinking, maybe if I get to be in charge, I ought to look into limiting whatever chemical it is that you're taking most often.
I have no idea.
Well, someone probably knows.
It could be anything.
Right. Well, we could probably try to get that under control, and maybe work on some kind of rehab system, I guess. There's probably going to be a lot going on. Actually, maybe a lot of unemployment coming up, so it might be good to get ahead of illegal markets, like sooner than later.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I hope you get clean, though. I hope everything turns around for you and all.
Yeah, well, if you wanna. Before Brock died, he was gonna throw me a party if I stayed sober for long enough. And I can't remember how long he said I had to stay sober, or what the party theme was, but I was really looking forward to it.
Okay, I'll think about that.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, it takes a while, but gradually everyone fills out their ballots, hands them off to one of Deb's people, and then exits the room. When it's all ready, Deb's people start counting. She says, "This is definitely going to take a while, Mason. If you like, I'll get together the final results, double-check to make sure the numbers line up, and then I can announce the winner at the colony meeting tomorrow."
All right. Thanks, Deb. Also, could I ask you to make the meeting announcement? I think it'd be better if people understand the counting was done by you as a neutral party, not something that I personally oversaw.
I'll be sure to make a note of it.
Thanks again, Deb. Good luck to whoever you voted for, and then I guess I leave.
You step outside, and right down the hall, Padre and his band is waiting for you.
Hey, Mason!
He starts walking towards you, his eyes alight with fire. And then your bodyguard, Sasha, called together, come out behind you, and Padre makes a swift right turn down another hallway.
See you later, Mason!
Boy, you guys just saved my butt.
You go back to your room with security detail in tow and settle in for some well-deserved rest. Real quick, you made a good speech, but can you give me an oratory roll so I can figure out how the crowd responded to it?
Okay.
All right, and the next day arrives. You oversleep a bit, but awake to the sound of Deb on the intercom calling everyone to a colony meeting for the results of the vote. You clean up and shuffle on down to find everyone standing around, looking anxious and excited. There's kids up on people's shoulders. You see a guy going around selling souvenirs made out of pipe cleaners. Deb gets up on stage. Well, everyone, it was a grueling night, but the votes are in. They've been checked and double-checked, and the results are as followed. In dead last, it's Kinsey. I'm sorry, girl. I was rooting for you. In second place, Padre Rockero. And then the hall erupts. And the winner is Mason, to quite a few people's surprise, I'm sure.
Yeah!
Mason!
It's coming. Enjoy your victory while it lasts.
There are cheers and boos, and the crowd's generally going nuts. And then Padre storms the stage. Lies! Fraud! Mason cheated!
Oh yeah, did your hair tell you that? Prove it, Padre.
The logic is elementary. Deb supported Kinsey, but she knew that Kinsey could never win. So together you conspire to throw the vote to Mason. People start murmuring. Sounds convincing enough to cast a bit of doubt.
Well, prove I did, Padre.
Prove you didn't, you scum!
Well, that's impossible. You can't prove a negative.
So you refuse to even defend yourself?
No, I mean, suppose you say that Bigfoot counted all the votes and then tell me to prove he didn't. But if Bigfoot doesn't exist, then that means he leaves no trail. Nothing about him exists. I can't prove that something doesn't exist if it really doesn't exist, because nothing about it exists. But if I did cheat, then there would be positive evidence of cheating. So, prove it.
Kinsey steps up. It doesn't matter. As one of the band leaders and a vested authority of this colony, I cast my support for Mason. It's clear that this is what the colony wants, and as I hate to admit it, I can't responsibly push this on any further. Mason. I choose Mason to lead. You see, they're conspiring together!
If Kinsey wanted to throw the leadership to me, we wouldn't have to stage a vote, Padre. She could have done it at any time.
Liar. You think I don't see what's going on here? Well, your reign will be short indeed, Mason. Short indeed. He storms out of the room, slamming the doors behind him. His band then lets themselves out and hustle after him. Congrats, Mason. See you around.
All right. Well, everybody, I'd just like to say, I know you weren't all hoping for me to win, but that's why we had the term limits on the ballot. Deb, how long do the ballots say I'm gonna lead for?
1 year.
1 year. All right, that makes sense. That's usually how we gauge our important stuff. Well, everyone, I've done enough things in my life to not be worthy of forgiveness, but disrespecting the vote isn't one of those things. In 1 year from now, we're going to have another vote like this one, and if you didn't like how this one turned out, you'll have a chance to get someone new. Heck, maybe you'll even talk Padre into trusting this system again.
Speaking of Padre, Elvis, you're following Padre on a warpath straight to the comms room. When he arrives, there's nobody there. Padre walks up to the system with the blinking light.
Oh yeah, I guess Mason's gonna have to figure out what to do about that outside call. Probably keep ignoring it, I guess.
Padre picks up the receiver.
Padre? I think, you can't answer that. Communicating outside the asteroid is like high treason or something.
You know, Elvis, I have been waiting for you to get it, and I don't think you're going to. Padre grabs for you.
I reach into my pockets and throw a fistful of powder at him.
Ah! Oh, it stings! What is this?
I have no idea! I run. Mason! Mason!
Elvis bursts through the doors, screaming.
Mason! Padre's answering the phone!
What phone? What are you talking about?
He's answering the outside call!
Oh, jeez. Head out the door.
Your security detail rallies behind and away you go. When you arrive in the comms room, Padre is looking out the window. The light is no longer blinking. The receiver is hung up.
He answered the phone! He broke the law! The forbidden law!
Prove I did it.
Padre, did you answer that phone call?
Prove I did, Mason.
Padre, the difference here is if you answered that call, there might be real evidence coming directly towards us right now, and if what we've all been told is true, that evidence isn't going to be a metaphorical bomb.
Oh, well, the burden of evidence is on you, Mason. Completely without warning, a massive, angular, boxy-looking ship painted in neon colors comes to an instant stop in front of the asteroid. It appears to be armed with mini guns. It begins docking.
Well, at least it wasn't a bomb. Grab him. Throw him in the brig.
Your people grab Padre, and after a bit of impotent struggling, they start to drag him away. The rest of his band follows wordlessly after him. Except for Elvis this time, I assume. You deserve nothing, Mason.
Bye, Padre.
You rush down to the meeting hall, which is just outside the docking bays. As you arrive, the main doors are already sliding open, revealing about 20 large, boxy-looking aliens dressed in robes similar to the ones worn by the singers. But these creatures seem to be robotic, and move with a kind of mechanical precision as they scan the crowd from the doorway. Each of them is carrying an instrument, and they look similar to the platforms you've been using for mining, but these machines are fully integrated to their bodies.
Hello, new visitors. I'm Lowry, and over time I've come to realize that I don't really speak for anyone here. Maybe some of the women, but not most of them. Which I think makes me an ideal diplomatic candidate because anything I say can and will be disregarded.
Excuse me, don't listen to him, I'm in charge.
No, see, it's great. Diplomacy with me is like a test run. If it doesn't go well, you can pretend it didn't happen.
I'm Mason, I've just been elected leader of this colony. To our new visitors, I'd like to thank you for not blowing us all up with a faster-than-light nuclear weapon. We all really, really appreciate that.
Hey, don't kill this Mason guy, please. I've got dibs.
Thank you, Lowry, I've got it.
The lead machine strums its guitar, making an inquisitive noise. Bwum?
Oh, do you speak through music? Hey, Deb, could you get me one of the band platforms out here?
Deb hurries off. The machines begin to skulk around, looking at the people and the general atmosphere of the meeting hall. The leader stops when he finds himself in front of a painting of colony members handing a box to the silent singers. The leader strums a low, powerful note.
Boom. Yeah. The singers. Do they make you mad? I don't know if you understand me, so maybe I'll just talk slower and louder. Do they make you mad?
The group kicks into a death rock ballad. They seem extremely mad. Deb and her crew drives the band platforms into the hall, and the machines gracefully taper off their music with a fade-out.
Okay, guys, go ahead and hop up here.
What are we gonna play?
I don't know. How about working in a coal mine?
Yeah, sure. That song's pretty universal.
Let's hit it!
Working in a coal mine, something, na.
The machines listen to you play for a while, then the leader holds up a hand. When you quiet down, they play Killin' in the Name of, but specifically the Won't Do What You Tell Me part.
That's Rage Against the Machine. But they are machines, though. I don't know how to interpret that one.
Okay, point at the mural and play the I won't do what you tell me part.
The machines nod enthusiastically and replay the same segment of the song.
Okay, let's try Owner of a Broken Heart.
Why Owner of a Broken Heart?
Because think about it. If we split with the singers, that's bad, but we can't live without them. Owner of a broken heart is much better than the owner of a lonely heart, which is much better than the owner of a broken heart, and so on and so on.
Man, communicating through music alone is kind of subjective.
I mean, that's how they talk. I mean, you get that, right?
Yeah, if you explain it to me verbally.
Let's just try it.
You play for a while. The machines respond with, Hey mean Mr. Boss Man.
Isn't that from SpongeBob SquarePants?
Apparently SpongeBob Seasons 1 and 2 made it all the way into space and then traversed intergalactic culture.
Well, so did Rage Against the Machine.
Well, why wouldn't it? Let's just play the same song right along with them.
I can't really remember how it goes. Hey there, Mr. Boss Man, I'm working hard while you get a tan, something like that. I don't want to work for you anymore.
The machines seem really happy when you join in with them, and when the song ends, all of them clap for you, simultaneously in perfect rhythm.
Thank you. Clap back.
The machines wave goodbye to you, seemingly quite happy, and then they turn around and go back to their vessel. Once they're all aboard, the doors close and they fly away. Once they're a safe distance, the ship vanishes.
Well, okay.
So the colony hall lights up with discussion.
All right, everybody. Not much we could do about that. We caught Padre making a phone call outside the colony, and we lucked out. So just go to your usual business for now. Try and get ourselves organized. Set up a ballot tomorrow to figure out how to proceed and move forward. That's all we can do.
And so, you put quite a few initiatives to vote over time. Things aren't exactly smooth, but ultimately the colony decides not to fill the tithe. The general feeling is that too much has happened and it was never going to work anyway. There are some critics of the new system who don't like how long it takes to actually do the votes, and the crowd sizes definitely wax and wane based on how many people really care about the proposals. But eventually the year draws to a close. Everyone gets ready to greet the singers with empty tithe boxes. Their ship appears and begins to send the docking signal. And then, something out of the ordinary happens. The singer's vessel is struck out of nowhere by a faster-than-light missile, and they evaporate into a fireball before they can start accelerating towards the colony. Shortly thereafter, the starship of the machines arrives again. They dock and let themselves in, and as they march into the meeting hall, they're proudly playing Do You Hear the People Sing? They're bearing all kinds of supplies, advanced hydroponics equipment, more instruments, and video projectors, to name a few things. They show you exciting propaganda about their cause. Like you, they were slaves once to the singers, but no longer. Brothers in struggle, unite! And, while this new relationship does have its strings attached and they seem eager to invite you to join the battle, it does offer more freedoms to see other worlds, have new experiences, and to live for more than just the next year's mineral tithe. Mason, though some enlist with the machines, many people remain and expect you to continue leading, at least until the next election.
I fought for this, so sure, I'll keep leading until the inevitable scandal that causes me to lose my office.
How about you, Lowry?
I think I'll hang around and settle down with Deb, who I've come to realize is a lot more loyal and understanding towards me than I probably deserve. I'll infrequently remind Mason I'm still going to kill him, but eventually get bored and forget.
And how about you, Elvis?
I'll join the robot militia, get myself clean, then lose a leg in a horrible battle. But it's okay, they'll replace it with a cool robot leg. Then I'll come back to the asteroid to retire, and reminisce about the good times, and probably start drinking too much.
And so it is. Life, never perfect, but with enough work and heads in the right places, at least a little better from time to time.
Thanks for the game, Paul.
Who's gonna GM the next game?
I feel like Lowry hasn't done one yet.
Oh, come on, I hate GMing.
You gotta do at least one on occasion, dude. I mean, everybody's gotta do one.
Alright, fine. I do have an idea. The premise is based loosely on Toy Story, so figure out what kind of toy you want to be.
Great.
Get excited! Hello! I really hope you enjoyed that episode, and if you did, I would really appreciate your support on Patreon. You can find me under the name of Don Somewhere. I also have a website, donsomewhere.com, which has links to the Patreon and a couple of other things that I've done in the past. I've been posting things to the internet for a while now, so you can find old videos and other types of things there. Currently, I am basically a stay-at-home dad, and I have been doing my best to juggle my obligations here and to my kid. So the update schedule has been a little spottier than I'd like recently, but if you subscribe to Patreon, occasionally I do still do slightly early releases, or the very rare kind of audio log, or just general commentary there on these episodes that you won't see otherwise. It's not a lot, but it keeps me at this, and I do appreciate the support. So, aside from that, I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I will catch you for the next one.